Chapter 2587, 100 Jun Wu Realm Powerhouse. Chapter 2587, 100 Jun Wu Realm Powerhouse. 8 players were killed. The 17 assassination bodyguards kneeled on the ground. This was the first time since Zhao Guo established his country. Moreover, the assassination team only listened to Zhao Wuji. They did not even need to kneel in front of him. However, right now, all of them were kneeling in front of Long Fei. This was a slap to the faces of the Zhao family members, and a slap at that. His entire body was struggling with all his might, but it was useless. It was just that he was unable to break through and obtain the strength that could crush him. And for this reason, he said ruthlessly, "You dog, if you dare touch a single hair on my head, I will make your entire family die a graveless death. I am Su Tianfu. If you dare to kill me, no matter where you run, you will die. Don't even think about peace for the rest of your life." Before he could finish his words, Long Fei laughed coldly. "Don't worry, I won't kill you. The harm I gave you just now was already enough, but someone will kill you. Uncle Gue, I'll leave it to you." Gue Qingshan slowly stood up from the ground. He clenched his fists tightly. Revenge, resentment. Gue Qingshan walked in front of Su Tianfu. Su Tianfu's body faintly trembled as he said, "Gue Zhanyan, what are you trying to do? If you dare to touch me, the Zhao clan will not let you off. If you touch me, I will." Not waiting for him to finish, Gue Qingshan slapped him. Use all of his Mahayana realm. Bang! It was incomparably loud. Instantly, the 5 finger marks on Su Tianfu's face became clearly visible and quickly became red and swollen, with blood hanging from the corner of his mouth. His hair was disheveled, and he looked to be in an extremely sorry state. Su Tianfu really wanted face. After being slapped in public, the anger in his heart could no longer be quelled, but even with such powerful rage, he was still unable to break through the shackles of his body. Su Tianfu roared in madness. "Gue Zhanyan, I want to die." Not waiting for him to finish, Gue Qingshan slapped him again with the back of his hand, again with all his strength. The veins on Su Tianfu's forehead stood out as he said in a heavy tone, "Pa!" Yet another slap on the face. Blood spurted out of his nose. Su Tianfu was crushed by the Nantian Monument Stone. The strength on his body could not move at all, and it was the same for his defense. In front of Gue Qingshan in the Mahayana realm, he was just an ordinary person. Gue Qingshan's face was expressionless as he fiercely slapped his opponent. "Pa! Pa! Pa!" And just like this, under a dozen or so slaps, Su Tianfu's face was swollen like a pig's head, and his cheeks were indistinct with blood and gore. Half of his life was left. Su Tianfu was unable to take care of himself, and a begging voice came out of his throat. Master, please let me go. I beg you, please spare me. I won't dare anymore, I beg you." "Pa!" Yi Zichen slapped him. Su Tianfu was furious again. "Gue Zhanyan, you dog, when your wife was groaning under my crotch, you took your daughter who had just turned 10 years old into." "Pa!" Yet another slap on the face. Gue Qingshan was not angry, nor was he angry. Just like that, he slapped his face hard like a madman. Who knew how many times he had slapped? Anyway, after about half an hour, finally, Su Tianfu's neck started to crack. There wasn't a single bit of flesh on his head, only a bloody skull. The eyeball exploded. His nose was gone. His mouth was gone. His ears were gone. Even the skull was full of cracks. Su Tianfu had died a long time ago, but Gue Qingshan still did not stop with his hands. He slapped Su Tianfu fiercely with his palms until Su Tianfu's head fell onto the ground. What kind of hatred was this? What kind of hatred? The system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Su Tianfu for gaining 150,000 experience, 1023,000 true chi points, and 5 arrogant god energy value points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. A few junk dropped. A Lucien walked up to support Gue Qingshan, looked at his badly mutilated hands, and whispered, "He's dead. He's already dead." At this moment, Long Fei looked at the 16 kneeling assassination bodyguard once more. The Juke sword moved. A sword chi slashed out, and 16 heads flew into the air. Ding, 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 ding. A series of explosions rang out. His experience points had risen by another huge amount. Awesome. With this sort of speed, I really have a chance to break through to the true martial emperor level. Long Fei seemed to see hope. The Zhao family's background was far stronger than he had imagined. Just from this assassination bodyguard cultivation, the Zhao family still had a lot of Zhenwu realm s. This is just the assassination team. There were also the foreign delegates who had been attached to the Zhao family all these years, and the powerhouse s who had been nurtured as well. Thinking of all these, Long Fei became even more excited. The surrounding people looked at Long Fei, and all of them revealed expressions of fear. I have never seen such a scene, where so many Zhenwu realm powerhouse s died in one go. Lucien supported Gue Qingshan and said, "Let's talk inside." Long Fei nodded. Looking at the people around him, he said, "Some of the Zhao family dogs go back and inform them to come quickly. I can't endure the thirst anymore." He really hoped that he could attract a large number of superpowerhouse. He would be able to gain another wave of experience for nothing. "Uncle Gue, Sovereign, why have you come to the godly capital? Right? Why are you guys being killed by the Zhao family? How'd you guys get exposed?" Long Fei asked. He now knew Gue Qingshan's identity as the great general of the dynasty. Gue Qingshan looked at Lucien. Lucien frowned and said, "It was Xianming Master who informed the Zhao family. It's that old hag again." Long Fei's eyes flashed with anger. Ilyoshian's eyes revealed a look of pain. "Gue Qingshan, 17th son of Devil, and the others are preparing to cause a ruckus for God's sect gathering today. They did not know that you had just come out from Dark Crack, so you have to quickly go to the Imperial Palace." Long Fei's mind shook and said, "All right, but what about you?" Gue Qingshan laughed heartily and said, "Don't worry about us. We are already half buried in the ground. Moreover, I have avenged my great vengeance, and I have no regrets in this lifetime." "Brat, thank you," Long Fei replied. "What are you saying? If not for you and Sister Xiao Dai, I would have been eaten by wild wolves a long time ago." "Right," Long Fei asked. "How many people do you have left?" Gue Qingshan said, "All these years, the people that I have groomed are not on the stage at all. The Zhao family is much stronger than what I imagined." He was slightly discouraged. However, this was the truth. The Zhao family was like a towering tree, unshakable. Long Fei said, "Just tell me how many people are there?" Gue Qingshan said, "A lot. Why are you asking this?" Long Fei took out a space ring from his bosom and said, "There are 100 strands of energy inside that can allow 100 people to instantly break through the city's Zhenwu realm. You can also fuse them. With 100 Zhenwu realm s, plus the 17th son of Devil and the rest, will they be able to shake the Zhao family?" Lucien and Gue Qingshan looked at each other, their blood boiling with excitement. Chapter 2588, Abnormal Old Devil. Chapter 2588, Abnormal Old Devil, Nantian Monument. Repression of Boundary Stones. This brat. Who exactly is it? Interesting. I never thought that the Nantian Monument would appear here. If I can bring him back to the God's tribe, I should have done a great deed, right? Just when Long Fei and the others were about to enter the Earth Sex Pavilion, in the distance, a man silently watched everything that had just happened. The corners of his mouth curled up, revealing an excited and impatient smile. He could not confirm if that stone tablet was actually a Nantian monument, but he could confirm that Long Fei's strength had exceeded his expectations. In his eyes, Long Fei was the best candidate. As long as they brought Long Fei back to the God's tribe, they could be sure that he wasn't a repression of boundary stones just now. If that was the case, the man's eyes lit up. When he thought of this, he became even more excited. The Nantian monument was a repression of boundary stones. At the same time, it had another name in the eyes of the people of God's tribe. It was called the Zhentian stones, the most primitive rock in the ancient world. Its power was incomparably strong, and if the power inside the stone awakened, it would be unstoppable. It could even suppress the heavens. The man's figure moved. He looked at Long Fei and said indifferently, "Kid, I'll be waiting for you at God's sect gathering." His figure disappeared. At this moment, deep within the palace, "Father, Su Tianfu is dead," Zhao Wuji said in a low voice. "I never thought that the Gui Zhan Yin, who has disappeared for 16 years, would have such great power. He sent over 20 assassination bodyguards, and not a single one of them are still alive." Zhao Chongshan slightly narrowed his eyes, waved his hand, and said, "This is not the key point. The key point is the brat that Sky Envoy has his eyes on." He looked away. In the instant the Nantian Monument's power exploded, he had also felt that powerful force. At the same time, he knew that the Sky Envoy was watching from not too far away. No matter how many assassination bodyguard died, he did not care. Even if 100 Su Tianfu were to die, he would not put them in his eyes. But if the glory of the Zhao family was replaced by someone else, then he wouldn't be willing to do so. What's more, this wasn't an ordinary glory. This was the God's tribe's disciple selection. If it was someone else, then everything that the Zhao family had done in the Zhenwu continent would be destroyed. It would be the same as the Wei family back in the day. The God's tribe is the sky of the universal realm. No one can oppose the heavens. The result of going against the heavens was death. Zhao Wuji's eyes narrowed, and he asked, "Father, what do we do now?" "God's sect gathering has already started. Do you want me to send more people to kill that brat?" Zhao Chongshan shook his head and said, "Now that the Sky Envoy has set his eyes on him, no matter what, he will not let you kill him. If we kill him, the Sky Envoy might blame us." Zhao Wuji asked, "Then what do we do?" Zhao Chongshan's eyes narrowed as he looked at the genuine Zhao Haoyan within the dragon bloodline, Imperial Qi. Zhao Wuji also looked at the scene. The aura of the dragon vein that the black dragon revealed continued to rush towards Zhao Haoyan. His body was frantically absorbing it, and every second of his body was changing. After a long time, Zhao Chongshan said, "I will do my best to let him break through the Emperor Zhenwu's realm." And then Zhao Chongshan looked at the black dragon totem on the giant pillar and said, "In short, no matter what, I must make that brat die in the hands of the higher." Zhao Wuji nodded heavily. "Your son will obey." Zhao Chongshan said slightly, "The Zhao family has been nurturing many people using their imperial qi all these years. Now it's time for them to do something for the Zhao family. We can't let them stay idle like this any longer. In today's God's sect gathering, if anyone dares to cause trouble, kill them." Zhao Wuji replied, "Yes." Zhao Wuji left the secret chamber. Zhao Chongshan walked in front of Zhao Haoyan, exhaled deeply, and said, "Only people from my Zhao family can enter God's tribe, and only people who are from my family can become descendant of God's tribe." True martial emperor's aura crazily surged from his body. Boom, boom, boom. The entire secret room was filled with rumbling sounds as power surged. The black dragon roared in the air as wave after wave of powerful energy struck Zhao Haoyan's mind. His strength was growing crazily. Zhao Haoyan's forehead surged with sweat, his body constantly releasing explosive sounds. His whole body was a mass of crimson red and a mass of pitch black. It was just like when one's cultivation went berserk. "Grandfather, I'm going to be unable to take it." Zhao Haoyan let out a painful cry. Everyone has their limits. If they cannot break it, then this person will collapse. Now, Zhao Haoyan was on the verge of collapsing. Zhao Chongshan said solemnly, "Higher, you must endure it. Only by absorbing this energy into your body can you break through the Emperor Zhenwu's realm. Do you understand?" "I must endure it." Zhao Haoyan frowned. Enormous energies surged into his body. He could not hold on for more than half a minute before his body suddenly trembled and he spat out a mouthful of blood. The blood was boiling hot. It was like a flame that spewed out hot white smoke on the ground. At this moment, Zhao Haoyan's body was like a huge stove. "Ah, grandfather, I feel so. Zhao Haoyan revealed an extremely painful expression. Zhao Chongshan didn't continue to pay attention to him. Instead, he crazily poured the power of the Emperor Zhenwu realm from his body into Zhao Haoyan's body. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, thunder rumbled out. With every attack, Zhao Haoyan spat out a mouthful of blood. His body was getting weaker. Finally, after spitting out a mouthful of black blood, Zhao Haoyan's entire body fell to the ground, as though his cultivation had disappeared. There was no aura of power at all. What a useless piece of trash. Zhao Chongshan frowned, his eyes filled with dense coldness. He stared at Zhao Haoyan, who was on the ground, his anger raging. The speed at which Zhao Haoyan broke through in the past half-year was simply too fast. Similar to an inflated balloon, it had already reached its limit. If he injected more powerful energy into it, it would only cause an instantaneous explosion. Moreover, a person's talent was limited. The talent of the Zhao family members were indeed great, but they had not reached the level of being able to break through to the true martial emperor. The reason why Zhao Haoyan could not handle it was also because of his talent. However, Zhao Chongshan looked at Zhao Haoyan, who was lying on the ground like a dead person, and said sinisterly, "I can't let the Zhao family be destroyed in your hands, so..." He narrowed his eyes. Boom! A stream of power surged out and entered Zhao Haoyan's body. Zhao Haoyan instantly sprung up and sat up. Zhao Chongshan laughed sinisterly. "Let me kill that brat in your place. In addition to that, I can also obtain the #1 beauty in Zhao Gua. Ha ha. Ha ha." The entire room was shaking from the mad laughter. Chapter 2589, Holy Artifact, Super Holy Artifact. Chapter 2589, Holy Artifact, Super Holy Artifact, Earth Sect Pavilion. Long Fei was very disappointed because, after waiting for an hour, he still did not see the Zhao family sending anyone else. Sigh, this time's luring has failed, Long Fei muttered. He had wanted to make another wave of experience before nightfall, but unfortunately no monster appeared. At this moment, Gue Qingshan walked out full of energy. At this moment, the aura on his body had completely changed, turning into the aura of a Zhenwu realm. His face was flushed red. With abnormal excitement, he walked to Long Fei's side and said, "You brought out this abnormal strength from the dark crack? Too strong, huh? Too damn strong." Behind Gue Qingshan stood a group of robust men dressed in black. They were the same. All of them were Zhenwu realmess. Gue Qingshan shouted and said, "Hurry up and get them." All of the black-clothed men immediately bowed, calling out in unison, "Boss." This scene, Long Fei was shocked. "Damn, are you doing this to society?" These hulks were just short of a pair of black sunglasses. They did not give in to being cool, and all of them were Zhenwu realmess in color. It could be said that they were an extremely strong team. Gue Qingshan said, "Right now, they are listening to your orders. What plans do you have for them?" At this moment, Ilusian also walked out. The spirit chi on his body was stronger. Not only was he fully recovered, his cultivation had also advanced one step, stepping into the true martial peak realm. Ilusian was also incomparably excited as he said, "Brat, I'll just treat it as your betrothal gift." Gue Qingshan was startled and immediately said, "Ilusian, can you at least give me some face? If you want to get a betrothal gift, you can also give it to me." Ilusian said, "My daughter is the prettiest. Zhao Guo, what about it?" Gue Qingshan rolled her eyes at him and said, "I'm too lazy to talk nonsense with you." He looked at Long Fei and asked, "What do you think? Now, we have enough power to fight with the Zhao family. Hundreds of Zhenwu realmess. This kind of strength was sky high." Ilusian also looked at Long Fei and said, "Do you want to kill your way in or what? I feel like fighting my way in is a bit of a show." Gue Qingshan said, "It's too ostentatious, and the Zhao family is even stronger than we imagined. Just say that 16 years ago, Su Tianfu was just an arrogant form state, yet he actually stepped into it and all of the assassination bodyguard are Zhen Wu realm. The Zhao family's background is far more than that. I think we should still make a plan. How could the royal family be so simple? The moment Zhao Chongshan, that old monster, had become an outer disciple of the God's tribe, he had received a lot of rewards from the God's tribe. The Emperor's aura was only one type. How many Zhen Wu realm powerhouses did the Zhao family have over the years? No one could say for sure. Caution caused the ship to sail for 10,000 years. Lucian said, "Don't be terrified, just do it. I'm afraid of them." Gui Qingshan glanced at Lucian and directly ignored him. He looked at Long Fei and said, "Whatever you want to do, no matter what choice you make, we will cooperate fully." In addition, Gui Qingshan said, "Other than us, the Zhou family also wants to take action. This time, Zhou Yaozong has transferred the entire army of 1,000,000 over, and the Zhou family's master has also come out. They are determined to win this time as well." Long Fei was a little doubtful and asked, "What do you mean by absolutely need to get it? Could it be that they want to rebel?" Gui Qingshan said, "God Sect Gathering's top scholar. This position will determine the future of the Zhen Wu continent. Whoever obtains first place will be brought back to the Sky Envoy to be nurtured by the Sky Envoy and become the descendant of God's tribe. If it is obtained by the Zhou family, then the Zhou family will replace the Zhao family. Zhou Yaozong is also betting everything on this. He has never been someone who is willing to submit to others." Long Fei pondered for a moment. An army of 1,000,000, Zhou family? Heh. Interesting. I wonder how many alien my alien queen has produced. With 100,000 grand Miss crystals, I should be able to create an army of a few million alien, right? Damn it. The first thing Long Fei did when he rushed out of Dark Crack was to let go of Alien Queen. 100,000 grand Miss crystals was more than enough for Alien Queen to go berserk for once. He pondered for a moment. Long Fei said, "Since we are fighting for the first place, then I have to go. Doesn't the Zhao family want face? Then we will stomp over his Zhao family in front of everyone. What Sky Envoy are you trying to make him lose his head in front of?" Lucian trembled slightly and said, "If we enter the Imperial Palace." Gui Qingshan said, "Long Fei, as soon as you enter the palace, you enter Zhao Chongshan's base camp. There are ambushes everywhere. He definitely will not let anyone win, and also will not let anyone ruin the feast that is going to take place in his Zhao family. From the very beginning, this so-called God Sect Gathering has always been prepared for Zhao Haoyan." Long Fei revealed a sinister smile and said, "Is that good enough?" "Right." Long Fei looked at the great elder behind Gui Qingshan and said, "I almost forgot, you can give me the invitation card now, right?" For the invitation card, Long Fei almost had a fire burning above his head. The great elder smiled apologetically. "I was careless. It was my fault." He immediately took out the invitation card and handed it over with his 2 hands. Long Fei muttered, "I still have one mission to complete. The system beep has not sounded. Since the challenge competition has already been completed, but it still hasn't sounded, then the criteria for completing the mission should be to obtain the invitation card, right?" The moment Long Fei received the invitation card, a system notification sound rang out. Long Fei thought to himself, "As expected, ding, congratulations to player Long Fei for completing the Land Banquet Challenge and obtaining first place. MMP, the higher the ranking, the more rewards I get. I'm now first place. Master System, you have to reward me with something good, right?" Long Fei rubbed his hands together, secretly excited. This mission was awarded according to the ranking. The first place reward was naturally the most. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining task reward. Experience points, 100 million points. True Chi, 100,000 points. Arrogant God energy value, 10 points. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the special reward Downgrade Spray. What is it? Downgrade Spray. What the hell is this? Long Fei didn't react for a while as he looked at the system space floating around him. It was a thing that looked like a child playing with a fruit juice spray toy. Holy sh*t. Demoted. Immediately, Long Fei was slightly shocked in his heart and was a little excited. Item: downgrade spray number of times. One-time description: spraying the opponent once, reducing the target by 3 levels, 3 realms, for a duration of 3 minutes. I'll go. This thing is awesome. Ha ha. The 3 realms are just around the 30th rank. Ha. Zhao Chongshan, your Emperor Zhenwu's realm is a lot, right? Do you believe that your father will let you return to the arrogant form state? Ha ha. With this thing here, who the hell would dare to be arrogant? I can't kill him. Long Fei almost burst out laughing from the excitement. Holy artifact, super holy artifact. Chapter 2590. Are you willing to follow me to Universal Realm? Chapter 2590. Are you willing to follow me to Universal Realm? It was too unexpected. System, you are being naughty now. To think that there would be such a new trick, haha. But I like it, was extremely excited. Who could still be his match if he dropped by 30 levels? Immediately, Long Fei said, "All right, I don't have any special plans. You guys wait outside the palace. If there's a fight inside, charge in. That's it. I'm going to have to act tough now. I'm going to the Gods Sect gathering." Long Fei walked out of the Earth Sect Pavilion with big strides, feeling elated. At this time, Long Fei opened the system merchant shop and looked around. Is there anything else that's amazing? Like getting poor? Such as getting bigger and thicker. But it was a pity. Long Fei searched through the system merchant shop, but didn't find anything special. He just exchanged the items that he obtained from killing the assassination bodyguardess, and then bought a few 4 times experience scrolls. The downgrade spray could only maintain itself. If it could not kill the other party within 3 minutes, it would recover its strength. Of course, if he couldn't kill Long Fei in 3 minutes, then Long Fei was too weak. Thus, Long Fei had to prepare to increase his experience points by several times. Is it for the old demon Zhao Chongshan? Or is it for the old demon woman, Yorong's master? In Long Fei's heart, he wanted to give it to Xianming Master even more, because this old hag was really quite evil. Even his own disciple was pushed into the pit of fire. If Long Fei knew that she was still Yorong's grandmother, he probably would not hesitate to choose this old witch and let her have a taste of being stepped on. In the evening, Imperial Palace, Celestial Gate. The streets were crowded. Every disciple, even every servant, was dressed extremely richly. It was as if they had entered the palace to fight a battle of attractiveness. His entire body was filled with precious jewels and precious swords. If this was in the past, he would definitely have been robbed to the point where not even his pants would be left. The young girls were also dressed up beautifully. Each and every one of them had thick makeup on. They were not going to participate in some God's sect gathering, but to choose their husbands. Long Fei walked in the back of the line and entered. He was still thinking about the downgrade spray. At this moment, the people from the sect of Infinitas have arrived. Look, it's the genius of sect of Infinitas, the Tong Shun. Wow, Tong Shun is so handsome. Tong Shun, I love you. The Tong Shun is mine. If you dare to snatch it from me, this county's master will see it for himself. A trifling fallen princess wants to compete with me. And then, the 2 girls began to fight and fell into the moat together. The river rolled up and engulfed the 2 within an instant, and their figures were nowhere to be seen. However, no one cared about the people who fell into the river, because they were all watching the disciples of the sect of Infinitas. There was a light blue robe, made of silk, with a sword hanging by his waist. The sword was embedded with all sorts of spirit stones. Infinite Ancestor was not around. The leader of the Tong Shun's eyes flashed with a cold light. He looked at the surroundings with disdain. He was like a proud peacock, incomparably cold and proud. "Get out of the way," a disciple of the sect of Infinitas shouted. Long Fei didn't mind as he stood in the middle of the road. The aura of one of the sect of Infinitas' disciples exploded. Boom! Limitless sword chi directly exploded Long Fei. However, lowered his head and did not even move an inch. As for the pressure of the sword aura, it had been completely shattered by the aura that had been released from his body. "Brat, you're courting death." The disciple was flustered and exasperated as he thrust his sword forward. At this moment, Long Fei finally reacted, and he slightly turned around. Seeing the sword stabbing over, he asked with some doubt, "Damn, you're crazy, right? Did I offend you?" His body slightly leaned to the side. That disciple's attack missed, and his body staggered, almost falling out of the arena. It was a bit awkward. The disciple became even more furious. Tong Shun coldly replied, "Seven Junior brother, forget it. Let's go. The land banquet is about to start." "Umph." That disciple let out a cold sweat, pointed at Long Fei, and said, "Brat, don't let me see you again, or else I'll definitely teach you a lesson." Long Fei's mouth curved up and laughed. "I'm waiting for you to make me look good. If I wasn't in such a good mood, you would already be looking good." Suddenly, Tong Shun suddenly stopped. Her gaze turned and stared at Long Fei. "So handsome. Look, Tong Shun is so handsome." A few infatuated girls were so excited that their whole bodies were shaking as if they had been beaten by ghosts. Tong Shun looked at Long Fei and said coldly, "You are also a participant?" Long Fei replied, "Yes." The god's lips curled up as he said, "Which sect do you represent?" Long Fei's clothes were not at all fancy, so it was hard to tell what kind of power she belonged to. Long Fei said, "Do you have to represent the power of the sect?" "I represent myself." "Ha ha ha, ha." Many people around them started to laugh. "So it's a rogue cultivator from Lonely Spirit Wild Ghost. Who gave you the courage to come to the gods' sect gathering? I really want to know how he got his invitation card. Is it stolen or forced? Brat, let's go back to your village and plant sweet potatoes. This is not a place a country bumpkin like you can come to." "Ah." Long Fei turned a deaf ear, as if he did not hear anything. Tong Shun also sneered and said, "Don't worry, you'll be out soon." Endless contempt. With that, he turned around and left. All the sect of Infinita's disciples started laughing loudly. "This kid is going to suffer. When you go up against Tong Shun, you will instantly lose, and furthermore, he is not even qualified to die under the Tong Shun sword. That's why he was able to say that he was allowed to come out very quickly. Ha ha, he's probably just a soy sauce user." "Tong Shun, I love you." Screams could be heard all along the way. Furthermore, the people from the sect of Infinitas didn't even need to line up as they strode into the palace. Long Fei said in disdain, "Tong Shun, I even got a pass. If Lousy wants to come out soon, then let's see who will come out first." So people did not need to care. Long Fei did not mind it at all. "Is this your invitation card? Are you sure it wasn't stolen? Could this invitation card be fake?" After being interrogated by the palace guard for half an hour, there were really too many people at the back that they had no choice but to let Long Fei in. Was already a little dumbfounded after entering the palace, because it was too big. Moreover, the people in front of him had long since disappeared, so he had no idea where to go. Holy **T, this is a bit of a scam," Long Fei muttered. At this moment, a man wearing a strange robe quietly walked behind Long Fei. "Go to God's sect gathering?" Long Fei nodded his head and said, "You're going too?" The man was stunned. "That's right. I'll bring you there." Long Fei said, "Then many thanks." He didn't think too much and immediately followed behind the middle-aged man. After walking for more than 10 minutes, they arrived at a huge back garden. There was no one around. They walked in silence, not saying a word. Long Fei followed along. He had a nagging feeling that this man was a little strange. No matter if it was his clothes or the aura he gave off, he was different from the warriors on the Zhenwu continent. The middle-aged man suddenly stopped, the corner of his mouth slightly lifted, and asked, "Is that stone you're wearing a Nantian monument?" Long Fei's gaze tensed up. The middle-aged man said, "Don't be nervous. I don't have any other intentions. I just want to know. If you don't answer, that's fine, but I hope you can answer that question. Are you willing to come with me to the universal realm?" Chapter 2591, Unstoppable. Chapter 2591, Unstoppable. Are you willing to come with me to the universal realm? The man suddenly turned and looked at Long Fei seriously. His eyes lit up. with a hint of confidence that he didn't know where it came from. Long Fei also looked seriously at the middle-aged man. After looking for a good 3 minutes, he said slowly, "Do you also not know the way? If you don't know the way, why didn't you say so earlier? You've caused me to waste my time." TCH. Waving his hands, Long Fei revealed a look of despise, and then walked towards the other exit of the flower garden in big strides. The middle-aged man did not give chase. Instead, his eyes narrowed slightly as a faint smile played at the corner of his mouth. It was only until Long Fei disappeared that he stopped smiling. And then, the middle-aged man also instantly disappeared. Huff, huff, huff. Long Fei leaned on the wall. His breathing was heavy and his heartbeat quickened. Just now, the middle-aged man had invited him to enter the universal realm, and he had gotten away with it. Actually, his heart was clear. This man was not ordinary. Moreover, he could possibly be one of the sky envoys that had entered the Zhenwu continent. The aura on his body was extremely strange. Along the way, Long Fei had been stubbornly staring at the long, bloody grooves on the top of his head. From the moment the middle-aged man appeared, Long Fei already knew. He was a boss. It was a super boss. It could be the ultimate boss in Zhenwu continent. Really excited. However, he didn't dare show it because he wanted to know what the goal of this boss was. Take me to the universal realm? Damn, the boss took me flying? It was not that Long Fei didn't believe it, but he couldn't believe it even if he used his toes. At the same time, his heart was filled with doubts. Why is it me? And why is he a boss? What's hidden in it? God's tribe. Could it be the ultimate villain? Long Fei muttered to himself for a while. He did not understand. This was also because his memories had yet to awaken. Otherwise, he would have been able to figure it out. Long Fei was too lazy to think about things he could not understand. Furthermore, his current goal was not God's tribe, but the Zhao family. Who? Long Fei let out a heavy breath and muttered. And in his previous life, he saw quite a few action films of an island nation. No, it's because of the acting skills of the Oscars. I wonder what the consequences would be if he were to find out. If we kill him, what will happen? Gudong. Long Fei swallowed his saliva and became excited. Seems like I still have one more person to choose from with my downgrade spray. Boom, boom, boom. A few fireworks shot up into the sky, lighting up the entire imperial city. Seeing that, Long Fei's heart tensed. God's sect gathering is starting. I need to hurry over. This damn palace, why is it so big? Long Fei was a little angry, but he also increased his speed and rushed towards the light. The cannons began to fire, and the God's sect gathering began to take their seats. All sorts of influential powers, sects, and noble disciples were present. The Heaven and Earth Palace was bustling with noise and excitement. In another place, Zhao Wuji anxiously waited. He paced back and forth at the entrance of the secret chamber, his fists secretly clenched. At this time, a guard of the Zhao family walked over and whispered, "Your Majesty, Sky Envoy has come into contact with Long Fei." Zhao Wuji's eyes narrowed. What did they say? The guard said, "It's too far away. I couldn't hear it clearly, but I could vaguely hear a sentence. Is it because you want to follow me to the universal realm?" What? Zhao Wuji's pupils rapidly contracted as a strong, killing intent appeared out of nowhere. Anger surged within him, and his fists were clenched so tightly that cracking sounds could be heard. It looks like, Sky Envoy, have you decided on a candidate? Zhao Wuji's expression turned slightly ugly. Looking at the door of the secret chamber, he said, "No matter what, we have to cripple that brat tonight." The guard immediately asked, "Do you want me to send someone over?" Zhao Wuji replied, "There's no rush. We'll wait for the great ancestor and Higher to come out of seclusion. As long as Higher can break through the Emperor Zhenwu's realm, I believe that I can definitely deal with that kid." Finished. As Zhao Wuji looked at the secret chamber, his heart became even more anxious. "Dad, hurry up. The God's sect gathering has already begun." In the secret room, boom, rumble, boom. A muffled sound rang in all directions as Zhao Haoyan's body continued to spin nonstop. The crimson red light that flickered all over his body was like a devil's light, and the Emperor's aura that the black dragon spat out had also turned dark. Boom! Boom! Suddenly, Zhao Haoyan's eyes suddenly opened, his entire body turning black, as though he had been possessed by a devil. Roar! He let out a furious roar. All the energy in the secret chamber was absorbed by his body. Black dragons spitting out mist was like a flame tempering his body. Zhao Haoyan slowly stood up and clenched his fists. Buzz! Black mist burst out from the gaps between his fingers. Strength! An incomparably thick and powerful force. Ha ha ha! Zhao Haoyan laughed out loud. It was also at this time. The black dragon that was coiled on the stone pillar suddenly twisted its body and suddenly flew out of the stone pillar, turning in mid-air and rushing down towards Zhao Haoyan's head. Roar! The dragon roar exploded. The chamber shook and stones fell from the ceiling. The entire palace was trembling. Everyone was shocked. Only Zhao Haoyan was laughing wildly. Ha ha! Ha ha! Half a minute later, when the black dragon entered his body, the black flames on his body became even more ferocious. The black scales covered his entire body and slowly disappeared into his body. In the process, Zhao Haoyan's pupils also slowly returned to normal. Since the black dragon has entered my body has reached an invincible state. Ha ha! Moreover, his cultivation is at the peak of true martial emperor. On the other side, beside Zhao Haoyan, Zhao Chongshan stood there motionlessly as if his body had been frozen. Zhao Haoyan gave a cold smile, and then he strode out of the secret chamber. The door of the secret chamber opened, and Zhao Wuji immediately went up to greet him. Upon seeing Zhao Haoyan, Zhao Wuji immediately asked, "Higher, where's Ancestor?" Boom! The instant Zhao Haoyan walked out with a twitch of his right hand, a surge of energy immediately closed the door and directly sealed it. He said solemnly, "Without my order, no one is allowed to enter the secret room." Zhao Wuji was slightly stunned. Looking at his son, he realized something was wrong, and his tone was different. "Higher your voice," Zhao Wuji asked. Zhao Haoyan coldly glanced at him and said, "From today onwards, the Zhao family will be eternal and immortal in the Zhenwu continent, and no one will be able to shake the position of my Zhao family." And then, Zhao Haoyan walked out with large strides. Zhao Wuji looked at his retreating back and muttered under his breath, "Why does it feel like Taizu? Could it be?" Zhao Wuji looked at the secret chamber. Immediately, he became excited along with it. If the great ancestor were to fight in the place of the higher, then no one can stop him. Chapter 2592, Face-Smacking Sect of Infinitas. Chapter 2592, Face-Smacking Sect of Infinita's Great Hall began to enter the stage. "What tribe? Xinyu sect?" An old eunuch shouted out loudly. Yurong led the way and leisurely walked into the hall. Behind her followed Xiao Dai, Thin Monkey, the big-sized man, and a few Xinyu sect disciples. Moreover, she appeared not long ago, and her expression was even colder than yesterday. It was as if she had seen a stranger when she saw Xiao Dai, and she did not say a single word. No matter what Xiao Dai and the others said, Yurong did not reply to them. No one knew what she had been through since last night. Yurong walked into the palace. Xiao Dai looked at Thin Monkey and the big-sized man and asked, "What should we do? Let's talk inside. Our main goal is to protect Big Sister's safety." The Xinyu sect disciples were the first to enter the Great Hall, causing the surrounding people to laugh coldly. "Gua tribe? What a joke. All these trash are worthy of being a Gua tribe. Why don't you take a piss and see what you look like?" They actually dared to be the first to enter the Sky Harmony Palace. Xinyu sect grades are always the lowest, and this year will definitely not be an exception. This group of trash will not be ashamed. What Gua tribe? I think it should be the bottom in the entire sect. Ha! Ha ha ha! Many people in the crowd burst out in laughter. Thin Monkey frowned, feeling very unhappy. Xiao Dai said in a low voice, "We are not here to compete. We are here to save people. Do not be rash and cause a ruckus." "Humph!" Thin Monkey snorted. "Damn it! I will kill them one by one later. Sect of Infinitas, enter. As soon as he finished, everyone quieted down. Tong Shun took the lead, and their gazes all intersected with each other on his body. 19 years old, the Xia Peak realm. Holy vein, divine level talent. It could be said that it was a dragon amongst men, an existence without a single one in a million. The most monstrous genius of Sect of Infinitas. Tong Shun had a smile on his face. Every time he reached a place, he would become the center of this place, and the palace was no exception. Moreover, after waiting for more than 10 years, today he would let the entire continent know his name. Tong Shun walked into the Supreme Harmony Hall and sat down. It just happened to be opposite of Xian Yu's sect. Next, the Zhou family representative enters. The leader was a disciple of the Zhou family, and also a general of the Zhou's army. However, in the hearts of the Zhou family members, he was like a sharp coal blade that could only be used in critical moments. Magic Tribe representative enters. Chief Captain walked in. The 16 magic captains behind him followed him, their faces expressionless. He only needed 10 seconds to enter the Great Hall. He did not even have time for everyone to discuss. Chief Captain looked at Xiao Dai. Xiao Dai glanced at the Yurong, who was sitting like a log, then gently shook his head at Chief Captain. Chief Captain looked at Yurong. One of the magic captains beside him said, "Great senior brother, she seems to have been restricted by some kind of power. I can feel the movement of the power in her body. Isn't today God's sect gathering and her wedding banquet? Why was there someone locking down her source spirit? Are you afraid that she will cause trouble?" Chief Captain said in a low voice, "It should be that old demoness who didn't want her to ruin this wedding. No need to think about it. It must be her master. F***CK. Isn't this too much? He actually treats his own disciple this way. I can't stand it. That's right, great senior brother. There's no need to wait. Just do it." Chief Captain's expression sank and said, "Don't be rash, calm down. Don't worry. Zhao Haoyan still hasn't come out. Our goal is to kill Zhao Haoyan, then break into the God's sect gathering and take care of the Zhao family." They had come this time to take everything back for Long Fei. Not only did he have to save them, he also had to take care of the Zhao family. Otherwise, even if they managed to save him, it would be useless because the Zhao family would definitely not let them go. The eyes of the numerous magic captains became sinister. A Sect of Infinita's disciple at the side disdainfully said, "A group of barbarians." A magic captain who was already on fire immediately stood up. With his eyes open wide, he shouted, "You F***king have the guts to say that again." That disciple was not afraid of trouble and said with a sneer, "So what if I say one more word about you barbarians?" Not waiting for him to finish, the figure of the magic captains moved, instantly landing in front of the Sect of Infinita's disciple and fiercely slapped him in front of everyone. Pah! A resounding slap across the face. The disciple was slapped until he was lying on the ground. His head hit the floor, and the floor cracked. His entire body bounced up. Blood was flowing out from his nose, eyes, and ears. After being bounced up, it was even more shaky. It was unable to stand steadily, and was unable to distinguish its east, south, and west. Furthermore, he couldn't say a single word. Magic Captain's gaze swept across them. Who the hell dares to say that again? The 20-odd disciples of Sect of Infinitas were stunned, and no one dared to make a sound, because the aura being emitted from the body of the magic captains was too dense, and all of them were suppressed. Tongshin's expression was extremely ugly. However, he could not say a word. "Acting cool? I'll kill you with a single slap," the chief captain said lightly. "Ninth junior brother, come back." Ninth junior brother coldly snorted, stared at Tong Shun, and said, "Take care of this group of scum. If you dare provoke my magic tribe again, I will make them kneel down and call our ancestors." It was very domineering. Tong Shun's teeth chattered loudly, but until magic captains left, he was still unable to say a single word. He fiercely swept his gaze over his junior brother behind him. All of them lowered their heads. Sect of Infinitas had always been arrogant and despotic. He thought that this old man was the best in the world. However, this time the situation was a little different. Having been slapped in the face by Magic Tribe, and in front of so many people at that, the anger in Tong Shun's heart raged, but he did not dare erupt, because the cultivation level of the Magic Captains was stronger than his. He was still unable to withstand the aura of the Zhenwu realm. However, he was not worried, because God's Sect Gathering was not only competing in terms of fighting strength, but in all aspects. The Zhenwu realm was indeed strong. However, if he wanted to get first place, just relying on force was not enough. This was a contest in all aspects. Martial arts duels were only one of them. The entire Sky Harmony Hall was already filled. However, there were still many people outside the hall. Many of these people were nobles of the royal capital, but they couldn't reach the qualifications to enter the palace. In addition, there were also some people who were specially invited. They could only watch from the sidelines. Of course, you can also participate in the competition, but compared to the powerhouse in the Great Hall, the people outside the Great Hall were on completely different levels. At this moment, the old eunuch with the duck's voice lightly said, "The Emperor has arrived." Aside from the people in the main hall, everyone outside the hall knelt down in unison to greet him. However, the one walking in front was not the Emperor, but the Crown Prince, Zhao Haoyan. This scene shocked everyone. The moment Zhao Haoyan stepped into the Great Hall, he immediately looked at Eorong and revealed a perverted lewd smile. Zhao was number one beauty is indeed not for show. Ha! I like it. Chapter 2593, Arrogant Tong Shun. Chapter 2593, Arrogant Tong Shun, eyes naked and evil. She was staring at Eorong like a pervert. Eorong was completely indifferent. Quiet discussions sounded in the field. Because Eorong and the others were not talking, they were anxious to the point that they didn't know what to say. Zhao Haoyan walked with large strides to Eorong's side. Xiao Dai immediately asked, "What are you trying to do?" Zhao Haoyan glanced at Xiao Dai and smiled lightly. "Girl, you're not bad too. Tonight, the two of you will accompany me." Thin Monkey and the big-sized man immediately could not hold it in and shouted, "Say it again." Zhao Haoyan completely ignored the two of them. The Magic Captains behind Chief Captain could no longer sit still. The great senior brother forcefully stopped him and whispered, "Don't move." The aura on Zhao Haoyan's body. It is no longer the Zhenwu realm. Could he have stepped into the Emperor Zhenwu's realm in a single day? The great senior brother said lightly, "Since we can raise our cultivation by leaps and bounds in a single day, he can as well." The aura coming from Zhao Haoyan's body is far stronger than that of an ordinary Emperor Zhenwu's realm. Then what should we do? Why do you care? Just do it. A few Magic Captains could not hold it in. The great senior brother shook his head and said, "Don't be anxious. Let's wait a little longer. Be calm at all times." Zhao Haoyan's sudden change in cultivation level to Emperor Zhenwu's realm was out of the great senior brother's expectations. He wanted to see Zhao Haoyan's strength first. Eorong was expressionless. Xiao Dai was infuriated to the extreme, as she said ruthlessly, "Keep dreaming." "Ha ha!" Zhao Haoyan abnormally laughed out loud and said, "I, as a person, never dream about it. Don't worry, you two won't be able to escape tonight. I will definitely cherish you guys, ha." Two glances at Eorong, and then directly walked to the Emperor's seat. Zhao Wuji, who had stepped into the Sky Harmony Hall, immediately said, "The Crown Prince is presiding over this God's Sect gathering today." Although Zhao Haoyan's actions made him a little embarrassed, he knew clearly in his heart that the person in Zhao Haoyan's body was no other than his father, the great ancestor of the Zhao family. It was enough to know that. Zhao Wuji retreated to the side. Within the palace, discussions could be heard outside. Is this the sign that the Crown Prince will ascend the throne? Definitely. I heard that this year's God's Sect gathering was prepared just for the Crown Prince. I keep feeling that the Crown Prince is different from before. Too arrogant. Damn, if I were the Crown Prince, I would be even more arrogant than him. However, the number one beauty of Zhao Gua is really pretty. If this kind of woman were to be put to bed, I wouldn't even want to get out of bed for 3 days and 3 nights. Zhao Haoyan sat on the throne and didn't have much to say. His eyes were always staring at Yorong as he thought about the various abnormal scenes in his mind. Since everyone is here, let's start. Don't waste my time. First was the gods' sect gathering. Then there was the wedding banquet. Yorong was already wearing a red robe. An old eunuch walked forward and said, "Exchange duels begin." The first match, alchemy. In the form of a combat arena, you can win all the challengers. You can get 1 golden bean, and the person with the most golden beans is this year's heavenly sect's new king. As soon as he finished, Zhao Haoyan said, "Everyone, let's begin. Let me see the level of your alchemy." The corner of Tong Shun's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a proud smile that was difficult to conceal, and he thought to himself, "It's time for my show." And then Tong Shun walked to the center of the hall and slightly bowed. "Sect of Infinitas, Tong Shun." Zhao Haoyan said, "Who's going to accept the challenge?" Tong Shun asked. "Your Highness, can I challenge other sects?" Zhao Haoyan said, "Of course you can. You can issue challenges to all the forces here, and they must accept the challenge as well. If they dare not accept the challenge, directly scram." Everyone's eyes turned cold. There was no such rule in the past. Moreover, what kind of person was the Tong Shun? A versatile genius. Alchemy, forgery, inscriptions, beast taming. This was also related to his holy vain-ass and inherent skills. "Don't ever pick us. We don't know alchemy either." Just when everyone was discussing who to choose, Tong Shun walked in front of Yorong and said, "Xianyu sect is bestowed the title of Gua tribe. I think that all aspects must be very outstanding. I'm an untalented child. I hope Xianyu sect can give me some pointers." Yorong's face still did not have any expression, nor could he speak. Xiao Dai looked at Yorong and said, "Fight." He didn't submit either. Tong Shun smiled faintly and said, "All right, I will wait here." Tong Shun returned to the center of the hall and took out the pill furnace. "Sister Xiao Dai, we don't know alchemy." "Yeah. Who's at the alchemy? Who's going to fight?" A few disciples lowered their heads, and one of them said softly, "We all thought that Elder Long Fei would come, but he isn't here right now. We aren't even prepared at all." "Huff." Xiao Dai exhaled and said, "I'll go." "Sister Xiao Dai, you know alchemy? Have you ever refined a pill?" Sister Xiao Dai, stop joking around. Thin Monkey and the big-sized man spoke anxiously. Xiao Dai said, "Xianyu sect cannot be cowardly. Long Fei is not here. We must hold up the flag and not let others look at us." At this time, Tong Shun, who was already prepared, said with a disdainful tone, "Which one of you is going to fight? If there is no one here, then come out and kneel down and admit defeat. Say that the Xianyu sect is trash, and I'll spare you." Ha ha! The sect of Infinita's disciples immediately laughed. "Xianyu sect has always been trash. Wasn't he at the bottom that year? You still have the face to come? You sure are thick-skinned." Ha ha! Many people in the hall started laughing at him. An affront. The disciples of the Xianyu sect could not even lift their heads up. Every time they came, they would always be called trash. They were already used to trashier. Furthermore, they were still going to face sect of Infinitas, the monstrous genius of the sect of Infinitas. Alchemy? They weren't a match at all. Outside the palace, Yuan Shan and a few elders of the Xianyu sect also tensed up. It's fine as Long Fei is here. They could not enter the main hall. However, they were all looking forward to Long Fei's appearance with a ball of fire burning in their hearts. However, the God's sect gathering had already started. If Long Fei did not appear, then he would not appear. Xiao Dai's face sank and said angrily, "Even if you're trash, it's not your turn to speak. Isn't it just alchemy? I'll accompany you." At this moment, the chief captain suddenly stood up and said, "Our magic tribe will meet you head-on. Is your sect of Infinitas really so greedy? We are very unhappy. Tong Shun, do you dare to accept the challenge?" Magic tribe suddenly jumped out. The Tong Shun laughed coldly and said, "I was originally going to be the second one to embarrass your magic tribe. Since you want to be the first one to embarrass yourself, then I'll start with you. Just now, he hit my junior apprentice brother. Now let's see how I'll step on your face. Chapter 2594, The Tyrant Shall Die. Chapter 2594, The Tyrant Shall Die. Tong Shun was incomparably cold and proud, looking down on everyone. He had originally wanted to embarrass Xian Yu's sect and challenge him again. Now that the magic tribe had jumped out, he naturally wouldn't let him off. Xiao Dai was slightly taken aback. Chief Captain nodded towards her, hinting that some of them should know alchemy. And then, a magic captain walked out and directly walked to the center of the hall. Tong Shun laughed blandly. I like to slap others' faces. I never thought that there would be someone in your magic tribe who would extend his face out for me to slap. Ha ha ha. The magic captains replied. We still don't know who will win. While they were talking, he also took out his pill furnace and placed a few magic tribe spirit grasses on it, all of them flashing with a black light. Tong Shin looked at it and laughed coldly. A 9th level magic tribe spirit grass? It seems like your alchemy is at most at the 9th level. He forced a smile on his face and said, see what kind of spirit grass I take out. All of them were immortal stage spirit grass. Everyone was startled. Could it be that Tong Shun is already an Earth rank alchemy master? Impossible to be an Earth stage alchemy master before the age of 20. Isn't this way too terrifying? To be able to refine immortal stage spirit grasses, he must at least be an Earth rank alchemy master. My God, Magic Tribe is going to lose. Zhao Wuji said slightly. I never thought that Tong Shun would have the chance to break through the Earth rank alchemy master in just a few years. Infinite Ancestor stroked his beard and laughed proudly. Earth stage? Your Majesty, he has already become a heaven rank alchemy master, and for this day, he has prepared for a total of 19 years. He wants to reach the top 3 in Sky Sect of Ling Clan. Ha! Zhao Wuji laughed. Zhao Haotian waved his hand and said, please begin your performance. Tong Shun made a gesture of invitation. Please. The magic captain's was not long-winded. The idea moved and released his true essence, releasing purple-black pill fire. The pill furnace started to move, and the level 9 spirit grass began to place them into the pill furnace one by one. His movements were mature and steady. However, the Tong Shun sneered disdainfully. You'd dare to come out and make a fool of yourself with this kind of method? Too weak. As soon as he finished, the true essence on Tong Shun's body fiercely exploded. Boom! Pill fire roared to the heavens. The spirit grass floated in the air, and at this time, the corner of his mouth twitched. He was constantly paying attention to the progress of the magic captain's alchemy, and just as he was about to finish, the power of powder moved. A powerful wave of pill power gushed out from the furnace and blasted into the furnace of the Tong Shun. Rumble. The pill furnace immediately exploded. The furnace exploded. The spirit liquid scattered in all directions, and the alchemy failed. Magic captains also instantly retreated, all of his organs rolling in his chest as blood leaked out from the corner of his mouth. The other 16 magic captains instantly stood up. Tong Shun laughed out loud. I had thought that Magic Tribe's alchemy technique would be that strong, but it turns out you're just a piece of trash, ha ha ha. And then, he frowned and withdrew his pill fire. He said, Forge complete. Although his cultivation was in the 9th level Mahayana, which was lower than the Magic Captain's, his attainments in the Pill Dao was higher than the Magic Captain's, so he could use the power of powder to injure the Magic Captains. Moreover, Magic Captains also did not expect that the Tong Shun would suddenly attack. Tong Shun took out a glowing pellet from his pellet furnace. When the pill was produced, the entire hall was filled with the fragrance of spiritual energy. The grade of this pill was extremely high. An elder said, Heaven-tier pill. The entire hall was in an uproar. Tong Shun is a heaven-rank alchemy master? Heavens! How is this possible? Too awesome. He really is a monstrous genius. Zhao Haotian glanced at Tong Shun and said faintly, You really have some skill, huh? First round of challenges, Sect of Infinitas wins. I've obtained a golden bean. The old eunuch waved his hand, and a young eunuch walked to Tong Shun with a golden box in his hands. Tong Shun took it with a complacent look and said, I can also give Magic Tribe a chance. If you can defeat me, then this golden bean is yours. Very arrogant. He was unusually arrogant. The 17 Magic Captains all had ugly expressions on their faces. What are you being so arrogant for? Let's see how you can continue being so arrogant during the martial arts competition. A Magic Captain said fiercely. Tong Shun laughed. Martial fight? Ha ha! I don't even need to fight to win against all of you. How did the alchemy explosion feel? It must be really good, right? Ha ha! Tong Shun laughed out wildly. The disciples of the sect of Infinitas also laughed at him loudly. The Magic Captain clenched his fists tightly, and his anger surged. Zhao Haoyan also let out a cold laugh. No one dares to fight in Magic Tribe. Sigh. Trash all over his body. Then he looked towards Xian Yu's sect as the corners of his mouth curled up, and he said coldly, Xian Yu's sect, it's your turn now. Xiao Dai immediately stood up. Thin Monkey grabbed it and said, You can't go. The big size guy also said, Sister Xiao Dai, let me go. With Tong Shun's character, he would definitely attack even more ruthlessly in this alchemy competition. Even a level 9 alchemy master had been heavily injured. They did not even understand alchemy at all. The more it was like this, the less they would let Xiao Dai fight. Xiao Dai said, There has to be someone. If you go, you will be injured. Your cultivation is stronger than mine, and staying behind will be more useful than me. Tong Shun laughed and said, Don't worry. There will be more refining, arrays, and beast taming. None of you will be able to escape. Ha ha. Damn it. The big guy shouted, Too arrogant. Tong Shun laughed. Arrogant? This is not arrogance. How can crushing trash like you be called arrogance? This is called strength. Do you understand? Ha ha. Aren't you all Gua tribe? Come, let me see the strength of your Gua tribe. Yurong didn't have an expression on his face. Xiao Dai and the others could not help but be angry. Xiao Dai got rid of Thin Monkey's hand and took a step out. Boom! The aura on his body exploded. The might of the Zhen Wu realm came crashing down like an enormous wave, directly smashing onto the mind of the Tong Shun. Tong Shun's face immediately revealed pain. His body felt heavy, and he asked, You, how did your cultivation level surpass mine? A trash like you still has cultivation? Xiao Dai said harshly, and his strength sank. Plop! Tong Shun was crushed to the point of him kneeling on the ground. Xiao Dai said, How arrogant! Damn you! It was very domineering. The entire audience was stunned. Zhao Haoyan also trembled slightly. Zhao Wuji, infinite ancestor, and the rest of the sects and clans were also shocked. Most people were very clear about the strength of the contestants this time. Xiao Dai's cultivation was just golden protector level, but in such a short period of time, it was already the Zhen Wu realm. Zhao Wuji's eyes darkened slightly as a cold light flashed in them. Moreover, in this instant, the might of a Zhen Wu realm gushed out, shattering the pressure that Xiao Dai had released. Xiao Dai retreated slightly. Tong Shun also instantly jumped up from the ground, his eyes cold as he stared straight at Xiao Dai, and said sinisterly, I will kill you later. Chapter 2595. Hand me your body. Chapter 2595. Hand me your body. Xiao Dai's gaze tightened as he immediately looked towards the corner. She was no match for Zhao Wuji's cultivation. Chief Captain's gaze tensed up. He could not grasp the situation right now. Moreover, the most important thing was Yurong. She had been controlling the power inside her body all this time. Once she activated it, would Yurong follow them? If she was still controlled by the power in her body, then the consequences would be even more troublesome. The great senior brother looked aside and asked, How long more do you want? That junior brother slightly closed his eyes and said softly, This power is stronger than I had imagined. I need some time to help her break free from this restriction. Chief Captain looked at the big-sized man and Thin Monkey, gently shaking his head. The big-sized man and Thin Monkey relaxed their fists. He couldn't move at this time. Before they made sure that Yurong was awake, they could not move. Moreover, they also knew that there were a lot of experts from the Zhao family in the dark of the hall. How many Zhen Wu realm powerhouses are there? They didn't know. Tong Shun's face turned ugly. Kneeling in front of a little girl in front of so many people, he was extremely unhappy. Xiao Dai disdainfully replied, "What divine level talent? Holy Vane, a monstrous genius that hasn't appeared in 1,000 years or 10,000 years, in my opinion, is just trash, a piece of trash." The corners of Tong Shun's eyes twitched as he said fiercely, "Don't be complacent. I'll show you later with alchemy." Xiao Dai completely ignored him and said, "How old are you this year, 19? 19 years old is still my Yana realm, but I am already a Zhenwu realm at the age of 17. How much trash do you think you are?" Tong Shun clenched his teeth until they almost broke, wishing that he could go and tear Xiao Dai's mouth apart. His cultivation was not a match for Xiao Dai at all, and he was unable to withstand the pressure. Xiao Dai's Zhenwu realm? Why didn't I know? When did it happen? Oh my god, am I dreaming? 17 years old Zhenwu realm. What the hell, this is so overwhelming that it can crush Tong Shun by leaps and bounds. I had thought that Tong Shun was the #1 genius, but now it seems that he really doesn't even have the qualifications to carry this little lady's shoes. Will the Xianyu sect rise to power this year? 17 years old Zhenwu realm, too powerful. Zhao Haoyin slightly narrowed his eyes, swept his gaze, and stared straight at Xiao Dai. The idea slightly moved. It really is the Zhenwu realm, and the other two are doing the same. They stepped into the Zhenwu realm in a day. It seems like they must have had some sort of special fortuitous encounter. Following that, Zhao Haoyin's gaze swept across the 17th son of Devil and was slightly shocked in his heart. They're all Zhenwu realm. Seems like he came prepared. Must I ruin my wedding? This is perfect for us to show off in front of the Sky Envoy and crush all these so-called geniuses. Ha ha ha, ha ha ha. Zhao Haoyin laughed out loud in his heart. To him, Zhenwu realm? It was just trash. Infinite Ancestor could not stop there. He said solemnly, "You even have a sharp mouth, but please clear up. This is the God's Sect Gathering's alchemy competition. If you continue to waste everyone's time, don't blame this old man for being impolite." His voice shook. It carried an endless aura of the Zhenwu realm. One after another, they flowed into the body of the Tong Shun. The alchemy required a calm mind, and if one was filled with rage, it was very likely that the alchemy would fail, and even the furnace would explode. This would affect the Tong Shun. The calm Tong Shun laughed sinisterly. "Let the alchemy begin." Xiao Dai shrugged and said, "I don't know alchemy." She had already thought of a countermeasure before going up the stage. She didn't have any attainments in the Tao of alchemy, so she simply didn't use her alchemy. Indeed, Tong Shun's expression changed as he looked towards Infinite Ancestor. It was as Xiao Dai had expected. If he did not use alchemy, the power of powder simply could not injure Xiao Dai at all. Infinite Ancestor shouted, "You don't know alchemy. What are you doing running up here?" Xiao Dai said, "I saw that he was upset, so I came up to scold him a little." "What's wrong? Can't you?" Infinite Ancestor's eyes flashed with anger. "You?" Xiao Dai asked, "What's wrong with me? Can't I? Do you want to be scolded by me too?" "Old fellow." He was so angry that he was about to spurt blood. Zhao Haoyin said slightly, "Even though you're going to accompany me to sleep tonight, it's actually an alchemy competition. You still have to train for a bit. This is the rule." Tong Shun was ecstatic and immediately said, "Did you hear that? You still need alchemy. You can't escape, huh? If you don't have alchemy, then admit that your Xianyu sect is trash, haha." Xiao Dai's eyes darkened. Zhao Haoyin said, "If you do not have alchemy, then do as he says and admit that your Xianyu sect is trash." Since they knew that Xiao Dai and the others were here to cause trouble, it would be better to ruthlessly ravage them before doing anything. He liked to do whatever was abnormal. Xiao Dai fiercely snorted and said, "With just my alchemy, am I afraid of you? 19 years old and trash of the Mahayana realm. It could only attack the heart." Tong Shan's arrogance was easily angered, But with the infinite ancestors' Zhen Wu realms qi stabilizing his mind, Xiao Dai's attack on his heart did not have any effect. Let the duel begin. Tong Shun took out his furnace and spirit grass. He looked at Xiao Dai. Xiao Dai stood still in his original position. Zhao Haoqian coldly snorted and said, "Why aren't you moving?" Xiao Dai said, "I don't have a pill furnace, and I don't have a spirit grass. I have one here." One of Sect of Infinitas' disciples immediately jumped out, took out his pill furnace and spirit grass, laughed heartily, and said, "Little junior sister, hurry up and start." Xiao Dai's brows tightened. She did not understand alchemy from the start. Since he had to refine it, then he would finish it quickly. This way, at least he wouldn't be attacked by the power of powder. After making up his mind, Xiao Dai instantly moved. She wanted to quickly enter alchemy. However, the moment she activated her true origin, Tong Shun said solemnly, "Bitch, your father will overturn you." The power of powder was like a myriad of swords piercing toward Xiao Dai. Xiao Dai's heart tightened. She did not understand alchemy, and furthermore, she did not understand the power of powder. Towards this kind of attack, she simply did not know how to resist, and her eyes tensed up. She wanted to stop her alchemy, but it was already too late. In the blink of an eye, rumble, 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 Xiao Dai's alchemy world erupted with a huge explosion, and all of the 10,000 swords were blocked by a single strand of energy and instantly shattered. Tong Shun's gaze tensed up as he thought to himself, "How is that possible?" At the same time, a sound transmission sounded in Xiao Dai's mind. "Sister Xiao Dai, I'm here. From now on, give me your body, and I will make him call himself the power of powder." Chapter 2596, Kneeling and Begging for Forgiveness. Chapter 2596, Kneeling and Begging for Forgiveness. It had to be said that the Imperial Palace was truly enormous. Long Fei was lost. Fortunately, he had made in time. However, his identity on the invitation card was just a rogue cultivator. He did not have the qualifications to enter the Great Hall. He could only watch from the outside. As for the challenge, he didn't have the qualifications. When Long Fei saw Xiao Dai walking out, his heart secretly tensed up. Xiao Dai did not understand alchemy at all. With the Tong Shin's attainments in alchemy, Xiao Dai would be injured. Immediately, Long Fei moved his body and entered Xiao Dai's body. "Give your body to me." Xiao Dai was startled, but he secretly rejoiced in his heart. Long Fei said, "Don't panic. Both sides of the hall are filled with experts from the Zhao family." In addition, he thought of the Sky Envoy. The aura of that middle-aged man was too strong. Xiao Dai said, "What else?" Long Fei did not continue, and said, "Don't worry about it for now. Let me control your body first." Xiao Dai immediately replied, "Amen." At this moment, Tong Shun's eyes turned sinister as he shouted out coldly, "Bitch, I want to see how many more you can block." Die. Buzz. The power of powder surged. A loud rumble resounded in the sky, as if a fierce beast was crushing down on them. Xiao Dai's expression became very calm, without the slightest bit of panic. It was as if he had instantly become a completely different person. What's wrong with Sister Xiao Dai? There's something wrong with her expression. She seems to have completely ignored the Tong Shuns, the power of powder. What does she want to do? Look, she picked up a spirit grass. Could it be that she wants the alchemy? Impossible. She doesn't even understand alchemy. Tong Shun sneered and said, "Only you know alchemy? Ha ha! Tremble under the power of powder, you bitch." A fierce sound was heard. The vicious beast came crashing down. It heavily struck inside Xiao Dai's mind. When he was blocked just now, Tong Shun was very unhappy. But this time, he had to make Xiao Dai kneel on the ground and painfully beg for forgiveness. However, at this moment, Long Fei's powerful idea was being controlled and the ancient alchemy technique was being released. Although it was not at the super divine level of Long Fei's own real face, but it was more than enough to deal with a Tong Shun who was a heaven-rank alchemy master. The spirit grass hung in the air. True essence searched. The spirit grass seemed to be inside a pill furnace, releasing the spirit liquid. The heaven and earth became the furnace. It was naturally fire. One after another, the power of powder S that stood above this world were released from the process of alchemy. And in the instant that the Tong Shun S pounced down with incomparable ferocity, rumble! A loud explosion resounded. A super strong the power of powder shot out from Xiao Dai's body and pierced toward the center of the beast's brows like a spear of lightning. Crack! Direct hit. The spear of lightning pierced through everything. The fierce beast died instantly, and at that moment, the speed of the lightning spear did not stop. Instead, it became even more ferocious and arrogantly pierced towards the Tong Shun's sea of consciousness. At this moment, Tong Shun's pupils dilated as his body trembled rapidly. No, no, no. The power of powder that he had released was like an ant under his feet. He did not even have the chance to resist. The lightning spear stabbed into his sea of consciousness. His body sank down and fell to the ground. Following that, lightning flashed everywhere in his sea of consciousness. An incomparably powerful force exploded, causing his entire sea of consciousness to look like a sea of lightning. Ah! 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 Tong Shun let out a roar like a pig being butchered, kneeling on the ground with both hands covering his head, as though he was going crazy. Don't kill me, don't. It's the same with neuropathy. I was wrong. I won't dare to do it again. I don't dare, don't kill me. He was trembling with fear. Everyone in the hall was staring at him. The expressions of the disciples of the sect of Infinitas became extremely ugly. The corners of their eyes turned sinister, and their faces were all thrown away by Tong Shun. It was also at this time. Boom! The pill furnace that had lost the support of his true essence immediately exploded. Following the loud sound, the might of the spear of lightning vanished. It did not injure Tong Shun's body, but his mental state had already been tormented to the point where he did not even look human anymore. This was worse than having his physical body injured and exploding the furnace in front of so many people, kneeling down like a dog begging for forgiveness. For a Tong Shun who had taken a fancy to honor, this was even worse than killing him. Buzz! At the same time, a soft sound of enjoyment. Long Fei moved and said, "Done." The idea relaxed slightly. Xiao Dai immediately became excited and said, "Refinement completed." Looking at the trembling Tong Shun kneeling on the ground, Xiao Dai said in disdain, 19-year-old lame duck, what happened? Why are you shivering? Where are your pills? Io. The furnace exploded. So powerful. Ha. Disciples of Magic Tribe laughed out loud. Magic Tribe looked at Xiao Dai, also incomparably excited, and directly swept the face of the sect of Infinitas from the #1 sect in Zhaogua's sect. It felt so good. Tong Shun's eyes recovered as the corners of his eyes turned sinister. He suddenly stood up and roared, "You're cheating. You don't even know what alchemy is." Just like the cat with the tail. Xiao Dai glared at him. Boom. The aura of the Zhen Wu realm instantly crushed down. The spirit awareness was crushed to the point that his face turned pale and his body slowly bent down. Xiao Dai said, "With trash like you, why would I need to cheat? Why don't you take a piss and see what your virtue is? You still dare to fight me? Do you think that the Xianyu sect is easy to bully? I'll tell you guys, the current Xianyu sect is no longer the Xianyu sect. Who would want to ride on the Xianyu sect's head and piss and shit? I've crippled his life. Very powerful, very domineering. She was like a big sister in a gangster society." Everyone in the hall was stunned. Aren't women too valiant? Thin Monkey, the big size guy, was shocked. He secretly clicked his tongue. Is this Sister Xiao Dai's true appearance? Holy **T. I won't mess with her again. Xiao Dai himself also felt an indescribable comfort in his heart. He had never released something like this before, and to be able to suppress someone as arrogant and cold as the Tong Shun, it truly felt great. She stuck out her tongue and thought, so it can actually be that cool? Next time, I'll do it again. Long Fei laughed lightly. At this moment, Long Fei moved and immediately said, Sister Xiao Dai, be careful. without waiting for Xiao Dai to react. Wang, asterisk Zhao Haoyan, who was on the throne, suddenly moved. Chua, his figure disappeared and instantly appeared in front of Xiao Dai, revealing a perverted and sinister face. He laughed lewdly. Not bad. Xinyu sect is really a place where dragons hide and tigers hide. I never thought that there would actually be such a skilled alchemy master. Haha. Xiao Dai's gaze tensed up, and his body secretly shook as he quickly retreated a few steps and said, You, what are you trying to do? His aura was completely suppressed. The corner of Zhao Haoyan's mouth hooked up as he laughed sinisterly. I want to know who is representing your alchemy. As soon as he finished, Zhao Haoyan struck out with a palm. Are you afraid? Are you afraid? The current Zhao Haoyan was no longer the Zhao Haoyan of the past. Right now, Zhao Haoyan was the Zhao clan's old demon, Zhao Chongshan. His cultivation, his strength, was at the Emperor Zhen Wu realm. Xiao Dai was merely a Zhen Wu realm. He could not resist it at all. Plus, Xiao Dai never thought that Zhao Haoyan would suddenly attack. She tensed up and started to panic. She lacked battle experience, and in such a sudden situation, she could not react at all. However, although he couldn't do it, Long Fei could still react in time. Boom! The idea moved and completely controlled Xiao Dai's body. Its true essence churned, and, at this time, there was no other way. He had to take it head-on. He struck out with his palm. However, this time, it was not Xiao Dai's power, but Long Fei's power. Rumble, rumble, rumble. Both palms struck at each other, but Zhao Haoyan did not even move. Xiao Dai's body, like a kite with its string cut, flew out explosively and crashed onto a stone pillar in the Great Hall. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. Other than spitting out a mouthful of blood, Xiao Dai did not feel any pain, because Long Fei kicked all of them to bear with it. Outside the hall in the crowd, blood leaked out from the corner of Long Fei's mouth as his body sunk slightly. The bloody wound on his head instantly lost his normal health point. His heart tightened. True martial emperor is truly strong. Even if my strength is at the 9th level of the genuine force, I am unable to contend against it. And Long Fei looked at Zhao Haoyan, who was in the Great Hall. He felt that it was a little strange. This power was extremely ruthless and experienced. It did not seem to be Zhao Haoyan's power. In a single day, no matter how much stronger one's strength had become, it was impossible for it to become like this. Could it be another person? Long Fei's mind secretly tensed up. Xiao Dai crawled up from the ground and immediately asked worriedly in his heart, Along, are you all right? At this moment, Long Fei's idea had already been blasted out of Xiao Dai's body with a single palm from Zhao Haoyan, so he could not hear what Xiao Dai was saying at all. Seeing Long Fei not responding, Xiao Dai became even more worried. It was also at this time, 17 Magic Tribe suddenly stood up. The big-sized man and thin monkey also quickly ran to Xiao Dai's side. Chief Captain said solemnly, Isn't it a competition of alchemy? Why did it suddenly become a battle? Or could it be that the Crown Prince can do whatever he wants in the God's sect gathering? Ha ha! Zhao Haoyan laughed out crazily. He was staring at the outside of the hall. He was just testing the palm strike just now. Why would a person who did not understand alchemy suddenly possess such a power of powder? This palm. He had already confirmed that the one who had alchemy was not Xiao Dai himself, but someone else. However, he did not discover who that palm strike was. The powerhouse that was lurking in the palace? Or outside the hall? Zhao Haoyan's brows tightened and said, I was too excited just now, too excited. The alchemy competition will continue. While they were talking, Zhao Haoyan gently waved his hand and said, Bring out my pill furnace. Zhao Wuji immediately sent a voice transmission. Not long after, 4 strong men, each of them from Mayana Realm S, carried a giant 3-meter-tall pill furnace with 3 deep footprints in each step. The entire audience was secretly shocked. The infinite ancestor asked doubtfully, Does the Crown Prince know alchemy? Zhao Wuji smiled. I learned it yesterday. Huh. Infinite Ancestor was stunned. Looking at Zhao Wuji's expression, he felt even weirder, but he did not show it. Zhao Haotian looked at Xiao Dai and said, "You won. Now I challenge you." Xiao Dai's gaze tensed up. Thin Monkey immediately said, "Sister Xiao Dai, don't be afraid. Just now, we were able to defeat Tong Shun, and now we can still defeat him." The big guy said innocently, "That's right. I believe you." Xiao Dai looked away. She didn't understand alchemy at all. Just now, she was able to defeat the Tong Shun purely because of Long Fei's power. If she were to compete with Zhao Haoyan now, Xiao Dai thought, along, what do we do? What should we do? At this moment, outside the palace, a person walked out from the crowd. "I'll do it." The crowd outside the hall was in an uproar. Who is this person? Why is the corner of this person's mouth bleeding? What did he just say? Do you want to compete with the Crown Prince? Are you crazy? The crowd retreated, quickly opening up a path for Long Fei. Many people snickered when they saw him. Just then, Yuan Shan's eyes shook. He became extremely excited. "Long Fei, good kid, you finally came? Aya, why are you bleeding?" "Long Fei. Who is Long Fei? Who is Long Fei? I don't know him. He's probably a nobody. His name isn't on the Sky Sect of Ling Clan, either. I've met this kid before. He's the one that caused a ruckus in Sky Sect of Ling Clan yesterday." Long Fei walked out of the crowd. He was not well known, and no one recognized him. However, Zhao Wuji's expression darkened. The look in Infinite Ancestor's eyes also changed as he said solemnly, "It's him, boss. Haha." Youngest junior brother, Thin Monkey, and the big-sized man quickly went up to them. 17th son of Devil welcomed them all with incomparable excitement, as if they were all on stimulants. At this moment, it was like finding the backbone. Everyone's fighting strength had increased by a huge amount. The people outside the hall didn't know who Long Fei was, but he was definitely an expert. As for the Zhao family, as well as the 10 families S, they were actually extremely familiar with Zhao Haoyan. He was the one who summoned the demon general to cut open the sky. Long Fei walked to the entrance of the hall. The guard spear moved as he crossed paths with Long Fei. Zhao Haoyan laughed coldly and said, "It's really you. I didn't think you would actually dare to come out." A cold light flashed in his eyes. At the same time, there was disdain and contempt. It was completely different from the look in Zhao Haoyan's eyes yesterday. Long Fei looked at Yurong. Yurong sat on his seat, unmoving, and didn't even glance at him once. Long Fei secretly tensed up. "Damned old demoness. You really are King cruel." Long Fei was furious in his heart. He actually controlled his own disciple like this. They were afraid that Yurong would resist. Too vicious. How could there be such a master in the world? At this moment, anger raged in Long Fei's heart. He stared at Zhao Haoyan with killing intent and said, "Yesterday, I did not kill you. Today, I will definitely kill you." Family. The word family was particularly harsh. Today was the day he came to do whatever he could. Zhao Wuji's eyes turned cold as he shouted, "You dog, you're spouting nonsense. I think you're dead for sure." Zhao Haoyan slightly raised his hand and coldly laughed. "Do my entire family? Ha ha ha. With just you? You don't even have the qualifications to enter the Great Hall. What are you supposed to do with it? With your cultivation? Ha ha. In my eyes, he's just a piece of trash. Ha ha. Can you come in? What is your identity as an invitation card? Are you qualified to enter? You think you can enter the palace just because you obtained the invitation card? Ha ha. Is this a place where trash like you can enter?" Zhao Haoyan said fiercely. Long Fei replied with a faint smile, "Are you afraid?" Chapter 2598. Acting cool? That was a slap on my face. Chapter 2598. Acting cool? That was a slap on my face. Are you afraid? The tone was light. However, without a doubt, these words were filled with arrogance. It was as if she was criticizing Zhao Haoyan's nose and said, "Grandson, are you afraid?" Also, when Long Fei finished speaking, the entire hall suddenly quieted down. The temperature plummeted and instantly fell to the freezing point to the point where one could hear the sound of water condensing in the air. Creak, creak. The disciples of the 10 families all revealed painful expressions. Sect of Infinitas, Tong Shun, and many other noble disciples all paled. It was very ugly and painful. All the people below Zhan Wu realm felt as if their throats had been strangled. They couldn't even breathe. It was painful, indescribably painful. Although the Zhan Wu realm could barely endure it, it was not easy either. His mind was trembling, and his consciousness was surging crazily. An enormous aura swept out one after another, while the thin monkey and the rest revealed looks of pain. These were only anger that exploded from Zhao Haoyan's body. It could not even be considered pressure, showing just how strong Zhao Haoyan was right now. All of the powerhouse in the Great Hall, the 17 sons of the demon emperors, Xiao Dai, and 20 to 30 powerhouse-s were suppressed by one of his auras. He couldn't make a sound. Seeing that, Longface secretly shivered. So powerful. A completely different person in a single day. His mind tightened, and he became stronger. Similarly, Zhao Haoyan became stronger, and his strength was dense, steady, and domineering. This kind of cultivation was not something that could be achieved in 23 years. Half a minute later, the aura on Zhao Haoyan's body retracted slightly. Hoo! Cough, cough. The breathing in the hall was heavy, and many people started to cough quickly. Zhao Haoyan had a faint smile on his face and said, "You want to anger me? Ha ha ha. Boy, I'll tell you responsibly that you've done it. However, I still won't let you in." Then, Zhao Haoyan stared at Xiao Dai and smirked. "Let's begin the alchemy competition." Xiao Dai looked at Long Fei. Long Fei's pupils tightened as he stepped into the Great Hall. Huh. The 2 guards moved their pikes, placing them on Long Fei's neck, and said solemnly, "If you dare take another step, your head will fall to the ground." At this moment, whoosh, 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 asterisk, whoosh, 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 asterisk, dozens of the bodyguards of the Zhao family, wearing violet gold armor, quickly rushed over and surrounded Long Fei. Ha ha ha, Zhao Haoyan laughed. "You dog, I said it before, you don't have the qualifications to enter the Great Hall. Who do you think you are? What's your identity? Just stay outside and watch how I ravage your people." Suddenly, Zhao Haoyan stared at Xiao Dai and bellowed, "Alchemy competition, begin." Her eyes were fierce and sinister. The chief captain said with a heavy voice, "He is a disciple of the demon emperor. With this identity, can he enter the inner palace?" Xiao Dai also anxiously said, "He is the great elder of my Xianyu sect's pill pavilion. He can also enter the inner palace." Zhao Haoyan smiled as if he was playing with something, and said, "Disciple of the demon emperor? What about the invitation? Great elder of the Xianyu sect's pill pavilion. Then why is his name not on the list of participating disciples in the Xianyu sect? You want him to enter the inner hall?" "I won't." He had a smug expression on his face. Zhao Haoyan looked at Long Fei and said, "Just enjoy yourself outside the door. Don't worry, it will be your turn in the end." He then shouted out to Xiao Dai, "Begin alchemy." Xiao Dai was in a panic. Ha ha ha. Long Fei suddenly laughed out loud. Ha ha ha. Everyone looked at Long Fei. Zhao Haoyan asked, "What are you laughing about?" Long Fei pointed to his head and said, "I'm laughing because you have a problem. Don't you know why I'm here? I am here to overthrow your Zhao clan. Don't you find it laughable that I am not qualified to do so? My identity is your Zhao family's ancestor. No, your Zhao family does not have any ancestors. You are all little eunuchs and old eunuchs." At this moment, the aura on Long Fei's body suddenly moved. Buzz. The power of someone at the peak of the 9th stage of the Zhan Wu realm erupted abruptly. Boom. The aura was like a raging tide, directly shaking all the personal guards of the Zhao family who were fighting against the purple gold family to the ground, and none of them were able to stand up. At the same time, Long Fei stepped into the Great Hall. Identity? Qualification? Are you crazy? They were here to rob the Zhao family. What kind of identity did they have? What qualifications do you need? If he came here to follow the Zhao family's rules, what would that be called? This was more or less the case for brainless people. Thus, whatever gods, sect, gathering, identity, qualifications didn't have any binding force on Long Fei at all. Since he was already here, then he might as well be tough. He forcefully stepped into the Sky Harmony Palace. Zhao Wuji's eyes turned sinister as he looked at Zhao Haoyan. The infinite ancestor, however, did not hold back. You are already so arrogant at such a young age, to spare your life yesterday only to be unrepentant. If I did not teach you a lesson, you might have been sent to heaven. Boom! The power on infinite ancestor's body exploded out. Dense. The imperial aura of the Zhao family instantly burst out as well. The two forces gathered together. Infinite ancestor's hands formed claws, directly grabbing towards Long Fei's head. He bellowed out, "Little bastard, kneel down." It was incomparably violent. "Boss, be careful." Youngest junior brother, be careful. Everyone's eyes narrowed. The infinite ancestor was considered to be at the peak of the Zhenwu realm, and coupled with the Zhao family's royal aura, basically no one in the Zhenwu realm could be his match. Moreover, he had displayed his strength outside the Sky sect of Ling clan yesterday. Many people were shocked when he suddenly attacked with his full strength. This kid is dead for sure. Too arrogant. He actually wanted to barge in. Who does he think he is? What did he see the Zhao family as? Sandbag? Can anyone do that? Arrogant in front of so many powerhouse. Does he think he's the crown prince? He's dead for sure. Infinite ancestor could probably take his life in one move. In their eyes, the two of them were on completely different levels. Infinite ancestor was also using his full strength. If he was to release his strongest power, how could Long Fei withstand it? Definitely not. Seeing the infinite ancestor's attack fall to the ground, Long Fei stood in his original spot without moving at all. The corners of his mouth curled up, revealing a faint, cold smile. It's too slow. Infinite ancestor's eyes darkened, his claws striking down heavily. At this moment, Long Fei raised his right hand while his hand suddenly disappeared. "Ha! Rumble!" A resounding slap exploded out as the power surged. Like a beast that had suddenly rushed out, the slap knocked infinite ancestor down to the ground. Blood sprayed wildly. He tilted his head and hit the ground heavily. The 5-finger mark on his cheek had sunk deep into his skin, leaving 5 jumps of indentations in it. This slap was too vicious. It was a slap to the face. Infinite ancestor laid on the ground like a dead dog, his body twitching. Chapter 2599. Kill him. I'll go with you. Chapter 2599. Kill him. I'll go with you. Silence. Inside the hall, outside the hall, the 1,000 people could not make a sound. It was so quiet that it made people panic. They could only look at Long Fei blankly, as though they were looking at a monster. Stupid. The slap of an infinite ancestor at the peak of the Zhenwu realm was flipped over. He still possessed the power of the imperial qi, of the sect of infinitas. He was beaten into a dead dog, just like that. Illusion. It must be an illusion. It is impossible for such a thing to happen. The people of sect of infinitas rubbed their eyes quickly, but it was just that infinite ancestor was still lying on the ground like a dead dog. Unable to accept, several disciples of sect of infinitas immediately shouted out. The silence in the hall was broken. Boss is mighty. The boss is domineering. Ha ha. Junior is awesome. Ha ha. Many magic captains started to laugh out loud. When they entered the imperial palace, he had said that he would ask Long Fei to come out early, but now, even his master was defeated with a single palm strike. What about him? At this moment, the Tong Shun was trembling in fear. Are they all monsters? Why did Powerhouse, who produced so many Zhen Wu realm appear overnight? He is the genius ranked 6th in Sky sect of Ling clan, but why did he have the guts to become a trash ranked 60th? Not even a little girl. Now, it was even Long Fei who had come to shoulder the role of boss. Thinking of this, his heart trembled. All these years for today, but he felt like he was a joke. What a ridiculous joke. At this moment, The corner of Long Fei's mouth curled up as he gently glanced at Infinite Ancestor, who was twitching on the ground, and laughed coldly. Acting tough. I'm sorry. I like to trample people like you guys who like to act cool. While they were talking, Long Fei stepped on Infinite Ancestor's head. Zhao Wuji's eyes darkened. He strode out and shouted, Kid, what are you trying to do? Infinite Ancestor was on the verge of death. If he was hit again, he would immediately die. No matter what, the Infinite Ancestor was still his master. If Infinite Ancestor died in front of so many people, wouldn't that be slapping his face? Long Fei grinned and smiled, saying, Didn't I say it clearly? I'm here to rob your Zhao family. Whoever dares to block me will die. As soon as he finished, boom! Long Fei exerted force with his feet, and with a surge of true essence, he directly stepped on Infinite Ancestor's head until it exploded. Brain matter and blood shot out in all directions. Zhao Wuji's eyes narrowed. He had no time to stop them. As for Zhao Haoyan, he narrowed his eyes and watched coldly from the side, and did not have any intention of stopping them. To him, the Infinite Ancestor was only trash. Why did he say the trash? The entire audience was in an uproar. Many people were so scared that they directly stood up and staggered back. The faces of the 10 families' disciples all became pale, their hearts pounding. Is this person crazy? This person is a madman. Kill the Infinite Ancestor in front of the Zhao family. He doesn't want to live anymore, right? Madman. He must be a madman. This man is crazy. Long Fei was too arrogant. So what if it was the Infinite Ancestor? Acting so arrogantly in front of your father is the same as dying. If he hadn't blocked Xing Tian's axe yesterday, Zhao Haoyan would already be dead. Today's God's sect gathering would be his underworld feast. How could there be so many things left to do? Zhao Wuji's face turned ashen. His eyes seemed to spew fire as he stared straight at Long Fei, his teeth chomping loudly as he spoke word by word. Are you trying to rob the Zhao family? You want to go against the Zhao family, right? All right, brat. Let's see just how many lives you have left. Boom! Zhao Wuji was infuriated to the extreme. This was their Zhao family's territory. How could they allow Long Fei to be so arrogant? Where was the Zhao family's face? Where was the prestige of the Zhao family? Zhao Wuji did not think too much at this time. He shouted, Kill him! Power surged in the dark. Chief Captain also rushed out and said heavily, Who the hell touched my junior brother? I will kill him. 17 magic captains rushed out together. They all stood next to Long Fei. Xiao Dai, the big-sized man, and the thin monkey were the same. They quickly rushed to Long Fei's side. Whoever dared to move would immediately put their life on the line. Xiao Dai shouted, Sister Yurong, why are you not moving? Come here, a magic captain said. There is a power controlling her in her body. I wanted to break through it a few times, but I don't have enough power. Long Fei's eyes turned sinister as he cursed. You mother of asterisk king, old demoness. This was definitely something that the old demoness had done. There was no need to even think about it. Zhao Wuji laughed coldly and said, You came prepared, right? If the Xianyu sect colludes with the magic tribe, they can be killed. Zhao Wuji looked at the darkness on both sides of the hall and shouted, What are you waiting for? Kill them all. Kill them all. However, there was no response from the darkness. No one came out. At this moment, Zhao Haoyan's forehead tightened, but he did not say anything. Zhao Wuji's expression changed slightly as he looked at Zhao Haoyan. Zhao Haoyan looked towards one direction. He only saw a middle-aged man dressed in unusual clothes slowly walked out from the darkness with a faint smile on his face as he looked at Long Fei. Zhao Wuji's pupils suddenly constricted. Seeing the man walk out, he immediately kneeled on the ground. Greetings, Lord Sky Envoy. Zhao Haoyan also bowed slightly, not daring to have the slightest bit of disrespect. The entire audience was stunned. They all looked at the middle-aged man. Sky Envoy. So it's true, God Tribe Sky Envoy really came to Zhen Wu continent. My God. At this moment, the people from 10 families quickly followed and kneeled down and said in unison, We pay our respects to Lord Sky Envoy. Long Fei's gaze tensed up as he thought to himself. As expected, Chief Captain said, Sky Envoy, God's tribe's people. The middle-aged man walked to Long Fei's side and said, You can choose, but what I say remains the same. As long as you nod your head, no one here would dare to even touch you. How is it? Are you willing to follow me to the universal realm? There are over 100 Jun Wu realm powerhouses in this hall. You guys can't block it. He had even exposed the Zhao family's trump cards. Zhao Wuji's eyes tensed up. He was extremely worried. As long as Long Fei nodded, the Zhao family would probably. He was furious. He wanted to tear Long Fei into pieces, but he did not dare move. He had never seen the power of Sky Envoy before, but his father had once described 10,000 Emperor Jinwu powerhouses were not his match. He was too strong. Zhao Haoyan's eyes also turned sinister, his heart trembling. Both of his eyes stared straight at Long Fei. Don't ever agree. Don't ever agree. Long Fei nodded. Then everything he had done in this lifetime would have been in vain. Long Fei smiled faintly and said, Sure, but I have a condition. Kill him, and I will go with you. He raised his finger and pointed at Zhao Haoyan. Chapter 2600 Confusion. Chapter 2600 Confusion. Kill him. Long Fei said indifferently as he pointed at Zhao Haoyan. Zhao Haoyan's pupils shrank rapidly. If Sky Envoy agrees, then he would definitely die. Zhao Haoyan's mind tensed up and immediately said, Master, he is teasing you. Sky Envoy looked at Long Fei and faintly smiled, saying, You think I will listen to you? Long Fei replied, Yes. Sky Envoy was startled and asked, Why? Long Fei said, Because I'm stronger than him, because my talent is stronger than anyone else, because if you bring me back, it will be a great achievement for you. Sky Envoy laughed faintly. You are very smart. Long Fei said, Besides being smart, I am also very handsome. Sky Envoy laughed, turned around and looked at Zhao Haoyan. He wanted you to die, and it was indeed as he said. Taking him back would give me more rewards than taking you back. People should not kill themselves. What descendant of God's tribe? It's still the same for everyone. The Sky Envoy was only a descendant of God's tribe. However, he was born better, was born in the universal realm, and received a lot of cultivation resources to become a descendant of God's tribe. If he could bring another super genius to the God's tribe, then he could receive even more rewards. The most crucial point was, Long Fei still had a Zhun Tian stones on him. This thing was the main point. Zhao Haoyan's mind tightened and immediately knelt down and said, Master, you can't listen to his nonsense, and he said that his talent is greater than mine. So how would you know if you haven't competed before? I'm the strongest. I am willing to give my all for the God's tribe. Zhao Haoyan panicked. He was panicking even Zhao Chongshan right now. When the powerhouse of God's tribe made his move, he did not even have his life to live. And now, he hated Long Fei for his 18 generations of ancestors. Never would he have thought that Long Fei would propose such a condition. Let him die. The Sky Envoy hesitated for a moment, then turned around to look at Long Fei. What he said is reasonable. How does anyone know that you are stronger than him without a competition? Furthermore, I really want to know all of your strength. Why don't we have a round of competition? I'll take whoever wins. As for the person who lost, they will die. Yi Zichen blandly spoke. He felt a sense of contempt for everything. Whether it was Long Fei or Zhao Haoyan, it was all the same to him. He could ignore them completely because he was the descendant of God's tribe. He was the representative of the God's tribe. He was the representative of the heavens. What he said was everything. Even if you don't want to compete, you still have to. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. He still remembered what Elder Lu Yuan said to him. He had to be careful of the people from the God's tribe, but even without these words, he would have been careful. Because, in front of him, the Sky Envoy was a super big boss. It was just that the boss name was White, and it hadn't changed, and it wouldn't take the initiative to attack him. I really want to kill him. It was just that now was not the time. Furthermore, Xiao Dai and the others were around, so if they made a move against Sky Envoy, the consequences would be incalculable. Then again, Long Fei's goal was to overthrow the Zhao family. As for this super big boss, Long Fei secretly thought, I will endure it for now. And then, Long Fei said, sure. Sky Envoy's figure moved, landing on the royal throne. He said indifferently, please begin your performance. At this moment, Zhou Yaozong suddenly stood up, walked forward, and knelt down. Master, the Zhou family's disciples also want to participate in the competition. Whoever wins would be able to become a descendant of God's tribe, and whoever entered the universal realm would be able to rise to the top in a single step, and they would also be able to bring great benefits to their family. As long as a disciple of the Zhou family was chosen, the Zhou family would be able to replace the Zhao family without any bloodshed and become the ruler of the Zhenwu continent. Zhou Yaozong did not want to miss it. Next, the patriarchs of the 10 families all walked out and said, we also want to participate in the competition. Zhao Wuji's eyes were extremely gloomy, and he said solemnly, what do you want to do? Could it be that all of you want to climb onto the top of my Zhao family's heads to piss and shit? I'll turn you guys around. However, none of the patriarchs of the 10 families looked at Zhao Wuji, but Zhao Haoyan. Tongshan also came out and said, Master, I also want to participate in the competition. Nobody wanted to miss it. Even if Infinite Ancestor had just died, he did not want to miss this opportunity. As long as he won, he would be able to take revenge. The Sky Envoy smiled faintly and said, yes, everyone can participate. Whoever wins this competition will be brought into the universal realm by me and become the descendant of God's tribe. I think it just reached the powder-making competition, right? Then let's start from the alchemy competition. 10 families, Zhou family, Tong, Shun, Zhao Haoyan, these people could all be said to be one of the top geniuses amongst 10,000, and were in the same group? Or did they all want to reach the heavens in a single step? Long Fei didn't know. Long Fei only knew that those who blocked him had to die. Chief Captain said lightly, since Little Junior is able to pass the test of the highest level 10-story Devil Tower, a mere few people will definitely not be a problem. If you win, you can enter the universal realm and become a descendant of God's tribe. This also means that he has ascended to the heavens in a single step. Haha, too excited, just when everyone was doing their preparations. Yirong suddenly stood up. Long Fei immediately looked at her. She walked to the center of the hall and said, I also want to participate. Long Fei's gaze tensed up. Xiao Dai and the others were also confused. Sister, you doesn't have alchemy. Why would she want to participate as well? Strange. The corner of Zhao Haoyan's mouth hooked into a cold smile. Sky Envoy said, all right, let's begin. Don't waste my time. The Sky Envoy urged. At this moment, the 3-meter-tall pill furnace suddenly erupted with raging flames and purple flames, and in that instant, a few divine level spirit grass appeared in Zhao Haoyan's hands. It surged like crazy. In just half a minute, Zhao Haoyan unleashed a power that he had never felt before. Half a minute later, the fire went out. He let out a proud smile and said, Holy Ply, Soul Flame Pill refined. Instantly stupefied, the Holy Ply, in less than a minute. Moreover, his technique was breathtaking. It was hard to imagine. The first one he took was a God-tier pill, and it was just like an exam. If he were to take the test and get 100 points, how could he compete? How'd he win? It was a test with a total of 100 points. For a test with 100 points, why was he so victorious? Everyone was shocked. Zhao Haoyan looked at Long Fei coldly and laughed. Brat, just tremble. Compared to my talent, you're still miles away. In another place. What did you say? The boss is out. He's already in the palace? Transformers was excited. Tang Renjia's nose twitched as he said excitedly. That's right, boss is really in the Imperial Palace. At this time, the Transformers had already jumped onto the city wall. Tang Renjia immediately asked, What are you planning to do? Transformers said excitedly. Boss is here. I don't need to worry. I'm going to do my own thing too. Kailina asked doubtfully, What do you want? Transformers said, I heard that there's a dragon at the bottom of the palace. I want to kill him. The 5th chapter was delivered. Chapter 2601, Holy Ply. Chapter 2601, Holy Ply. He didn't know whether to attack or not, but once he did, the entire audience was stunned. Even Zhao Wuji was stunned. How could he have never imagined that his father actually knew alchemy? Moreover, his techniques were unique, violent, fast, and his level had reached the divine level. It was shocking, incomparably shocking. All of the disciples who were participating in the 10 families were stunned. He was scared silly. Zhao Haotian laughed coldly and said arrogantly, "Are you dregs worthy of fighting with me? You overestimate yourself." And then, his gaze landed on Long Fei, and the disdain in his eyes became even stronger, and he said, "Kid, what qualifications do you have to fight with me? I'm 100 times stronger than you. The blood vein is 100 times stronger than you. And as for my strength, I am 10,000 times stronger than you." His tone carried an incomparable domineering aura. One sentence after another. Every word that came out of his mouth was like a tsunami. It was extremely strong. The power of the true martial emperor also crazily surged forwards. What should we do? A god-tier pill at one go. It went all the way to the top. How are we even going to compete? There's no comparison at all. He lost before the match has even begun. At most, we can refine a holy ply and fight to a draw, but holy ply, even divine-level alchemy masters may not be able to 100% refine it. At this moment, boom, the alchemy of the 10 families' Lu family disciples exploded. Failed. Moreover, the vital energy and blood below his chest were roiling, and he suffered internal injuries. Boom. Yet another genius alchemy explosion occurred. Boom. Yet another failure. If he could not refine the holy ply, then there would be no meaning to it. Everyone was trying to attack the holy ply, but holy ply were too difficult to refine. One after another, they failed. All the disciples of the 10 families had lost. Only 3 people remained. The Zhou family's disciples, Yurong and Long Fei. Junior apprentice brother, what rank was the pill that you refined during the Tower of Demons trial? I don't know. Alchemy teacher didn't say anything. This is bad. Zhao Haoyan started with a holy ply. Even if junior apprentice brother refines the holy ply, I'm afraid it will be useless. Don't worry, it'll be up to junior apprentice brother. Everyone was worried. They only knew that Long Fei's alchemy was very high, but just how high was it? None of them knew. Long Fei did not rush the alchemy. They were looking at Yurong, but Yurong did not move, as if he was waiting for something. A disciple of the Zhou family, Zhou Lifeng, said slightly, "Since you two are not going to start, then I will start first." As soon as he finished, Zhou Lai's brows tightened, dense true essence surging out, taking out the pill furnace. Following that, the red pill, fire burned, and the 3 divine rank spirit grass floated into the pill furnace. Boom, boom, boom. As forehead was covered in sweat, his body was trembling uncontrollably. The pill furnace was almost out of his control, but suddenly, a strong power surged in his body and suppressed the pill furnace. Boom. A few minutes later, there was a roar. Zhou Lai's face was pale white. With a look of pain on his face, he said faintly, "Refinement completed." The pill fire was extinguished. Opening the pill furnace, a red pill was quietly lying inside. The entire hall was filled with a rich fragrance, and the pill was emitting a red glow. Divine level. Another god-tier pill. Oh my god, the Zhou family actually has a hidden peerless genius, a divine-level alchemy master. Isn't the Zhou family hiding too deep? The corner of Zhou Yaozong's mouth rose, revealing a pleased expression. The pain on Zhou Lai's face grew more and more intense. He had swallowed a few highest-grade medicine powder consecutively, but even so, he couldn't control it either. A mouthful of blood sprayed out. Uff. Zhou Lai was on the verge of collapse. Zhou Yaozong rushed forward and quickly supported him up. A surge of inner force entered his body, and only then was Zhou Lai able to stabilize his body. Zhao Haoyan laughed with contempt. Force my alchemy to suffer a backlash from the power of powder, right? Even if you have the power of the Zhou family's master. I'm afraid you would still be severely injured by the backlash, right? Zhou Yaozong, your Zhou family is still inferior to my Zhao family. The contempt of the king. In his eyes, Zhou Lai's alchemy process was very clear. He wanted to forcefully refine a divine pill. Without that divine level realm, forcefully refining anaphasic force would only bring about a strong anaphasic force. This kind of anaphasic force was not something that an ordinary body could withstand. Even if Zhou Lai was proficient in this art, she would not be able to handle it more than a few times. Zhou Yaozong's face became ugly. He stared at Zhao Haotian and said, "You are not Zhao Haotian." Zhao Haotian sneered coldly. "I'm Zhao Haotian now." "All right." Zhao Haotian looked at Long Fei and Yorong and said, "Only the two of you are left. Sister Rong, you don't need to use alchemy anymore. When I take first place, when we get back to the bridal chamber tonight, I will also bring you along to Universal Realm." "Of course, as long as you serve me well tonight." Zhao Haotian laughed crazily. He was confident that he would be able to win this match, because Zhou Lai's pills could only be considered a semi-god level at most, and was still a little lower than his pills. Long Fei secretly clenched his fists, then looked at Yorong and said, "You Rong, I promised before to cure the injuries on your body. Now it's time to fulfill my promise." The toxicity of the everlasting burning sword. It went deep into Yorong's bone marrow. After half a year, there was no cure. Even the Xianming master couldn't find a way. Moreover, adding the life of the gifted soul of Underworld S, the poison injuries on the limitless burning sword were basically incurable. Yorong didn't have any expression on his face. Even, she did not glance at Long Fei. Moreover, just as Long Fei was about to make a move with her alchemy, she took the initiative and stepped forward. Landflower, Mingyu grass, a few stalks of immortal grass, and a few god-ranked spirit grass. A bright light flashed in his eyes. The next second, the true essence in Yorong's body surged. Boom! Black pill fire gushed out. When the spirit grass entered the cauldron, the spirit liquid began to surge crazily. A powerful energy was released one after another, completely dominating the power aura released from the Zhenwu realm, allowing the black flames to easily be controlled. This technique, Long Fei's gaze tensed up. Zhao Haotian's gaze sank as well. Even the inspector heavenly ambassador on the throne was secretly surprised. What an ancient technique! What kind of alchemy technique is this? I've never seen it before. Every race had their own unique alchemy technique. And what Yorong had revealed was the alchemy technique that was unique to the Ming clan. It was just that. No one on the scene recognized him. Boom! Once the pill fire was extinguished, a shiny, black pellet floated in the middle of the furnace. Divine level. The aura on Yorong's body faded, and his entire person became quiet once more. Another holy ply. Now Long Fei was the only one without alchemy. Chapter 2602. Long Fei's Attack. Chapter 2602. Long Fei's Attack. Sister Yorong actually knows alchemy? Moreover, he started off with a divine level pill. Isn't that too unbelievable? I have never seen her alchemy. Xiao Dai's brain was a little insufficient. Thin Monkey and the Big Size Man were also shocked. Chief Captain said slightly, "I'm afraid that the alchemy is not from her, but from the energy in her body." Xiao Dai thought about how Long Fei's idea had controlled her body and shuddered slightly. Could it be her master? The Chief Captain said, "If he can refine a holy ply just by controlling his body, then this person's cultivation is too terrifying." Xiao Dai said, "Just now, Long also said that his power can at most refine a heaven stage pellet. Then isn't the person who controls the Sister Yorong too strong?" Idea was unable to unleash its strongest power because it was not a real face, and its power was not compatible enough. However, for Yorong, who was controlled by the Xianming master, to actually be able to refine holy ply, it could be seen that her cultivation level had reached an indescribably terrifying level. It was hard to imagine. Long Fei looked at the Yurong, who had an ice-cold expression, and thought to himself, "Old witch, your father will be your ancestor in the future." He was furious. He had already locked on to the selection for the downgrade spray. Zhao Haoyan also sneered in his heart, and thought to himself, "Seems like there's more than just one person who has his eyes on the position of the descendant of God's tribe. Sister Rong, you're amazing. Tonight, in bed, we'll go deeper into the matter of alchemy. On one side, alchemy, and on the other, it might be even more interesting." Haha. On the surface, Zhao Haoyan did not reveal any expression. Yurong was also expressionless. Sky Envoy looked at Long Fei and said, "You're the only one left now. Let's begin." Everyone looked at Long Fei. He's just scattering his cultivation. He doesn't even have a pill furnace. What's with the alchemy? He didn't even know alchemy, right? Even if it's alchemy, can he refine a divine pellet? His Highness the Crown Prince is the son of a true dragon, and the other one is the #1 beauty of Zhaogua. Exactly. This kid is useless. In the words of the Crown Prince, what qualifications does he have to compete with the Crown Prince? All kinds of contemptuous laughter sounded from the surroundings. A rogue cultivator? Even now, he still had not brought out the pill furnace. How did he obtain the alchemy? Zhao Haoyan sneered and said, "Brat, obediently kneel down and admit defeat in front of me. You won't win." Long Fei did not speak. He looked at Yurong and said, "I know you are in pain right now, and I will definitely save you. No one can stop me." As soon as he finished, his mind stirred. Buzz. True essence frantically gushed out, and in that instant, the ancient alchemy technique was released, which far exceeded the level of alchemy of the Zhen Wu continent S. Pill furnace. There was no need at all. Pill fire? There was no need at all. Long Fei frowned. Rumble. A rumbling sound came from above the 9 heavens and the 9 netherworld, as though all the power in heaven and earth had been gathered in Long Fei's hands. A huge pill furnace had been formed out of thin air. The heaven and earth became the furnace. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The elements of wind, the element of water, fire elemental. Streams of natural elements of power appeared in Long Fei's hands, and under the urging of his true essence, they instantly ignited. An invisible flame. Flameless flames. But the whole of Great Hall felt as if she was in lava, extremely hot. Zhao Haoyan's forehead surged with cold sweat. He couldn't control it at all. One after another the power of powder surged. Zhao Haoyan wanted to enter with the power of powder, but he was crushed in a powder before he could even get close. It was a completely different level of power. All of the people in the hall began to sweat. Their faces turned red from the heat of the fire, and their breathing became rapid. Everyone's mind seemed to have been crushed by this the power of powder. This was not alchemy. This was a drastic change in the world. This was a transformation of the natural power, a power the humans could not match. It was as if he was looking up at the heavens from the depths of the mountains, insignificant and insignificant. It was even smaller than a speck of dust. It was not only them who had this feeling, even the Sky Envoy on the throne felt this. At this moment, his mind was completely uncontrollable and was being guided. He could not extricate himself from that world. His heart trembled. However, at this moment, the inside of Sky Envoy was shaken and immediately shattered the world in his mind. He also jumped out from the forest, and looking at Long Fei, his mind tightened. Ancient alchemy technique. Impossible, impossible. His expression was incomparably excited. His eyes shone with a cold, sinister light. This kind of powerful alchemy technique could only be controlled by the powerhouse of God's tribe. In the entire universal realm, the strongest alchemy master, the strongest artificer, the strongest formation master, the strongest beast trainer. They were all from powerhouse of God's tribe, because they were all cultivating the cultivation methods of ancient world, which no one could compare to. However, now the ancient alchemy technique had actually appeared at this boundary. His eyes firmly locked on a Long Fei, and a wave of energy wanted to rush into Long Fei's body. At this moment, he was also sent flying by the power of powder on Long Fei's body. He was now even more certain that the technique Long Fei had released came from the ancient world. It was the most ancient and the strongest alchemy technique in the world, which was born from the ancient world. Could it be? He possesses the power of the ancient inheritance. That's impossible. The ancient world is already under the control of the gods' tribe, so any one of the ancient inheritances cannot escape the control of the gods' tribe. How can there be the power of the ancient inheritance? Then why? Why does he have an ancient alchemy technique? Or should I say, he was reborn from a certain powerhouse of God's tribe? Sky Envoy's heart was in chaos. He currently did not understand Long Fei. However, right now, he was certain that he could not let Long Fei go. In just a few seconds, everyone felt as if they had passed through a century until the heaven and earth powers in their idea world suddenly shrank. The crowd finally came to their senses. They all looked towards Long Fei. A pill landed on Long Fei's palm. There was no medicinal fragrance. There were no fluctuations of spiritual energy at all. There wasn't even a glow on the surface. It was like a black mud ball. One could not tell what grade it was. What level? Someone asked. Long Fei slightly retracted the aura on his body and did not reply. Instead, he walked in front of Yurong and gently said, "Yurong, consume it, and your injuries will be better." At this time, the aura on Zhao Haoyan's body suddenly stirred, and with a heavy sound, he said, "Wait." Chapter 26:03. Yurong S. Please. Chapter 26:03. Yurong S. Please. There was no spirit fragrance or fluorescent bind. It looked like an ordinary Earth stage medicinal pill, or even a trash pill that wasn't damaged at all. If someone were to consume it now, how would the pill grade be counted? Divine grade? First rank? There was no way to explain it. Therefore, Zhao Haotian stopped Long Fei and said, "Wait, what level is this pill at?" Long Fei didn't pay any attention to it. Instead, he placed the medicinal pellet in front of Yurong and said, "Consume it. It can heal the pain in your body." Long Fei looked at Yurong without moving. This pill was made for Yurong, but Yurong's eyes were cold and indifferent. Zhao Haotian was upset. No one dared to ignore him and shouted, "Brat, I'm talking to you. Are you deaf?" Long Fei still ignored him and looked at Yurong with flickering eyes. "Yurong, consume it. You're courting death. I think your pill is just a waste pill. You want her to consume it so that it can be called a divine pill, right?" Zhao Haoyan's eyes turned sinister. In that moment, his right hand grabbed the pill in Long Fei's hand. "Gotcha. Let me see what kind of pill you can forge." Everyone's face tightened. Xiao Dai said anxiously, "Along. Be careful. Rumble." The power of the mighty, great Emperor of Zhen Wu surged and pounced, instantly surrounding Long Fei. The pressure was like a steel bar that heavily pierced the ground around Long Fei, forming a cage of pressure around him. Zhao Haoyan's forehead turned sinister. Buzz. As the pressure receded, it directly suppressed Long Fei's mind. At this moment, the anger in Long Fei's heart burst forth. Not because Zhao Haoyan suddenly attacked, but because Yurong, from start to finish, she didn't even look at him. Her ice-cold gaze made her feel as if she was a stranger. His heart truly ached. His heart felt like it was being pierced by needles, making it hard to say how much he was in pain. It just so happened that Zhao Haoyan attacked at this time. The rage raged. Long Fei's eyes flashed with a red light, and the anger within his body burst uncontrollably. He roared loudly, "Scram to the side of this old man." Roar! Boom! A furious roar. The pressure cage instantly shattered. The surging waves of the true martial emperor's energy were also instantly crushed into powder by this sound and instantly vanished. Not a single bit of it remained. Zhao Haoyan's body that was rushing towards Long Fei also sunk and fell down from the sky heavily onto the ground. Boom! Cracks appeared on the ground, and his face paled in an instant. His entire body felt as if it had been tightly shackled by some sort of powerful force. causing him to feel as if he couldn't breathe. His heart jolted. What kind of power is this? Inwardly, he was overwhelmed with shock. He is Emperor Zhenwu's realm. Although this is not his real body, his strength is not comparable to the real face, but logically speaking, no one in the Zhenwu continent would be able to resist his might and strength. But just a moment ago, when Long Fei had let out that roar, he had felt as insignificant as a speck of dust. The entire audience was shocked. The Sky Envoy on the throne also came to a realization as the light in his eyes became brighter. His heart surged with great waves. Is the ancient inheritance the power of the ancient inheritance? Is that so? Sky Envoy's eyes tensed up, staring straight at Long Fei. However, after that roar, Long Fei no longer had that kind of powerful aura on his body and simply couldn't sense anything. Actually, Long Fei himself did not know either. When the secret area of Deep Hell was fighting the big boss Underworld Snake, he also suddenly erupted. At that time, he did not even know his own existence. It was as if he was in a coma. The angry roar just now, he was extremely angry, but he himself did not know how he was able to unleash such a powerful force. Even, of all the people present, he was the only one who did not feel that kind of powerful force. Thus, his expression did not change at all, and he still looked at Eorong seriously. His voice immediately became gentler, and he said, "Eorong, I know that you can hear what I say. Consume it." Eorong's heart was struggling with all her might. She wanted to raise her hand, wanted to take the pellet from Long Fei's hand, and wanted to break free from his control power. However, she couldn't. No matter how hard she tried, she couldn't. The power in her body was too strong, and it tightly controlled her entire body. "Master, please let me go. I beg of you, let me go." Disciple really doesn't want to marry Zhao Haotian. The person Disciple likes is Long Fei. "I beg of you, please grant my wish. I know I don't have much time left. Can you give me a bit of happiness in the remaining days? I just want to be with Long Fei, Master. I beg of you," Eorong said with a heart-wrenching pain. Within the idea, she also knelt in front of Xianming Master and cried like she was about to cry. Xianming Master's eyes turned sinister as he coldly spat out one word, "No." Eorong asked, "Master, why?" "Why?" The Xianming Master coldly said, "You do not have much time to live, and so do I. My lifespan has dropped to the point where I need to obtain the purest form of Emperor's Qi from the Zhao family to break through my shackles, or maybe just become a descendant of God's tribe and let the Inspector Heavenly Ambassador take me to break through the restrictions of the Zhenwu continent. Otherwise, I will die of old age here." "I can't die. I absolutely cannot die," Xianming Master said with a sinister expression. Eorong said, "If you want to live, you have to sacrifice me. I am your disciple, and didn't you say that the God's tribe is our greatest enemy? Haha, I can live if I sacrifice you. Why can't I sacrifice you? Since you are my disciple, you should think about everything for Master. As for Ming Clan's enemy, the God's tribe, Ming Clan's rise is indeed important, but no matter how important it isn't as important as my life. If Sky Envoy can let me live, then why would I oppose God's tribe?" "Ha ha ha!" Xianming Master laughed out wildly. It was just like the old witch's laughter. The things she wanted to do would never change. Anything. Eorong's heart was broken. Xianming Master asked, "How many years have I been waiting? I can't even remember it myself, but I've been waiting for the Ming clan to appear. I've been waiting for the ancient inheritance to appear, but it's just that. After all these years, he has never appeared. It was not easy for him to appear a month ago, but I was simply unable to find him. I don't have time to wait. I must obtain more lifespan. I must live on. Your death can be exchanged for 100 years of my lifespan. You should feel honored if you can." Xianming Master was like a madman. Her lifespan was down to a certain extent, and her mind had already been possessed. Anyone would be terrified of death. The more he knew that he was going to die, the more he was afraid. Survival was instinct. However, Xianming Master was just too crazy. In her world, there was no one else other than herself. even if it meant sacrificing her own granddaughter. Chapter 2604, Refining Out Elixir. Chapter 2604, Refining Out Elixir. Yurong struggled, struggling with all his might. But he couldn't break free. She looked at Long Fei's burning gaze. She wanted to say something, wanted to look at Long Fei, wanted to say something to Long Fei, take me away. However, she could not make a single sound. He couldn't even move. Only the tears fell silently from the corners of his eyes. There was no expression of pain, sadness, or tears. There were only tears. It slowly slid down. Seeing the tears on Yurong's face, Long Fei's pupils contracted. He became exceptionally gloomy as he said in a heavy voice, "Old witch, I'll fuck your ancestors." Suddenly, an extremely angry curse. He couldn't bear it any longer. Other than the tears on Yurong's face, his expression was the same. Xianming Master laughed coldly, filled with contempt as he said, "Yurong, do you know what it means to be weak? The person in front of you is a weakling." Looking at his anger, his madness, is there nothing he can do? This is what it means to be weak. It's completely useless. Ha ha ha. Yurong shook her head. She really wanted to say something, but she couldn't. Long Fei gritted his teeth until it made a cracking sound. If Xianming Master was present, he would kill her without a care. However, the Xianming Master was currently in Yurong's body, so Long Fei basically could not do anything about it. Xianming Master was also extremely disdainful. From the beginning, Long Fei had been a lowly person in her eyes. She had no inherent skill, no blood vein S, and even more so, no future. Even if his cultivation became stronger and he stepped into the Zhenwu realm, so what? Identity? It was not as noble as Zhao Haoyan. Her position was not higher than Zhao Haoyan. His cultivation was also not as strong as Zhao Haoyan's. No matter how one compared it, Long Fei was unable to compare with Zhao Haoyan. Thus, in the eyes of the Xianming Master, Long Fei was just a trash who was unwilling to be manipulated by fate, but was unable to break free from it. There was nothing to be done. The moment he was chosen by the Inspector Heavenly Ambassador, Xianming Master immediately panicked. In that second, she doubted her opinion, but now, she sneered again. Trash will always be trash. If they can't get on the stage, then they can't get on the stage. Ha ha! The Xianming Master laughed coldly. Long Fei was extremely furious. However, just as the Xianming Master had said, he had no other choice. Just as Long Fei was about to go berserk, a voice sounded in his mind. It was Yi Liuxian's voice. A few seconds later, Long Fei's expression tensed up, and his heart calmed down in an instant. The corner of his mouth curled up, and he smiled lightly at Yurong. "Old Demoness, you want to become a descendant of God's tribe, right? You want to borrow the Zhao family's emperor's qi to break through to the next level, right? Don't worry, I won't let you have all that you wish for." Ha ha! At this moment, Long Fei laughed out loud. Yurong's forehead turned sinister. The cold light in his eyes became killing intent, as if he was grabbed by the small tail. Indeed, Xianming Master was furious. Like a mad dog, he gritted his teeth and said, "Yi Liuxian, I should kill you. I hate it." Her purpose was now completely exposed. It was as if his ugliest side had been exposed. Hatred filled the sky. Xianming Master also stared straight at Long Fei. "Lame duck, just you wait. If you want to stomp me under your feet, I'll make you die without a burial ground." Yurong calmed down just like Long Fei and said indifferently, "Master, what he said has never been impossible. He will really trample you under his feet today." Xianming Master was startled. He shouted, "Shut your mouth. If you want to stomp, that is stepping on you. If you want to die, that is you dying. Do you think he is my opponent? Just what pill is he refining? He won't be able to pass this trial of alchemy. Step on me. What is he going to use to trample on me?" Xianming Master said with incomparable anger. Zhao Haoyan could not help but look at Yurong and laugh coldly in his heart, thinking to himself, "So that's how it is." And then Long Fei said, "When I was in the Forbidden Grounds, I swore that one day I will trample you beneath my feet. That day will be today. Finished. Long Fei walked under the imperial throne, raised the black and unassuming medicinal pellet in his hand, and gave it a light pinch. What does he want to do? Why are you crushing the pill? Have you admitted defeat? Who was the old demoness he mentioned just now? Everyone was puzzled. What did Long Fei's actions mean? As everyone was discussing, suddenly, a crisp sound of something shattering sounded out from the shell of the pill. Then, a blinding light shot out from the pill. Buzz! Crack! The outer shell completely shattered. At this moment, gold shot out in all directions. It was incomparably dazzling, shining down on Great Hall until it was as bright as day. That kind of divine light, that divine aura quietly flowed out. Everyone felt as if they had entered a fairyland. At the same time, a powerful force entered their bodies. The vigorous energy continued to stimulate their bodies. Ha ha! I just had a breakthrough. I broke through. What pill is this? I am willing to take out my divine weapon to exchange for it. All of a sudden, the entire hall was in an uproar. The pellet in Long Fei's hand turned into elixir immediately, and the power it contained was incomparable. It was something that the Zhen Wu continent could not even begin to compare to. Zhao Haoyan's gaze tensed up. Looking at the pellet in Long Fei's hand, his body faintly trembled. Eorong's expression did not change, but Xianming Master felt as if she had been slapped in the face. Just a second ago, she was still saying that Long Fei's pills were trash, but now, in that second, she was slapped in the face. Eorong laughed lightly and said with a heart full of joy, I say, he will trample everyone, right? Xianming Master was so angry that his head was smoking. He could not say a word. Long Fei kept the pill. The golden light vanished. At this time, many people said, Master, it will take a while longer. I almost broke through the Mahayana realm. Lord, is this medicinal pill of yours willing to sell? No matter what price others offer, I'm willing to double it. I'll do it 10 times. I'll drive 100 times. There was an argument going on all around. For a pill to be able to induce a breakthrough in its cultivation before even consuming it, how strong is that pill? It was impossible to put into words. Long Fei swept his eyes across Zhao Haoyan and her, and said, Did you see it clearly? Do you see what rank it is? Zhao Haoyan's face turned green. Sky Envoy laughed blandly. Holy ply. In this match, the 3 of us shall draw. Zhao Haoyan immediately laughed out loud and said, Haha, Master Sky Envoy is right. The highest grade of pills in the Zhen Wu continent is the divine rank. The pills that the 3 of us concoct are all divine rank, so is a Taiha. With that, Long Fei turned and looked at Sky Envoy and asked directly, Are you F*** King blind? Chapter 2605. Refining ended before it even began. Chapter 2605. Refining ended before it even began with 3 pills. Even a blind person would be able to discern which pill had a higher grade. It was very clear that Long Fei had won. But Sky Envoy's words had instantly created a draw. What was this? If it wasn't for Zhao Haoyan and the old granny, would Long Fei have slapped Sky Envoy twice and told a lie with his eyes wide open? Xianming Master also laughed out loud. Ha ha ha. So what if he refined a transcendent divine pill? Isn't it still a draw? Ha ha. You're wrong. It's too early for you to be celebrating. Ha ha ha. He was exceptionally pleased with himself. Just like Zhao Haoyan, he laughed maniacally with pride. Sky Envoy's eyes turned sinister. Without giving any explanation, he directly said, I'm the judge, so whatever I say is the truth. I said that the divine rank pills you refine are the same as theirs. That's the same. If you don't accept it, then leave God's sect gathering. A single word makes you lose your temper. I'm the envoy of the God's tribe. I represent the heavens. Are you unconvinced? If you don't accept it, then submit. Shao Dai immediately said, You can't just open your eyes and lie. It's obvious that the pills refined by Long are stronger than them. What right do you have to say that it's a draw? Before he could finish his words, Sky Envoy raised his eyes and said coldly, "It's very noisy." Suddenly, a burst of power erupted forth. Long Fei's pupils tightened as he blocked the attack with a single step. He crossed his hands in front of his chest. Bam! His whole body flew 10 meters away, heavily smashing on the ground. Puff! A mouthful of blood sprayed out. All of his internal organs had been moved. His mind, his sea of consciousness, his limbs, and his bones were all trembling. Although that power just now seemed formless and formless, it actually carried with it a power that surpassed the strength of a true martial emperor powerhouse. Just a little, but just this tiny bit, Long Fei could not bear it. If it was Xiao Dai just now, then perhaps Xiao Dai would already be dead. Enduring the pain, Long Fei stood up from the ground. His eyes turned sinister as he cursed in his heart. Damn you! Just you wait. You won't be able to escape death. Old fire had already woken up. However, it wasn't the time to explode yet. Compared to the Sky Envoy, Long Fei had to deal with Xiao Hao Ian and the old granny. Xiao Dai's gaze tensed up, and he immediately stepped forward. Everyone rushed to Long Fei's side. Boss. Youngest junior brother. Right now, they were only waiting for Long Fei to say one sentence, one word, and one word. Fuck. However, Long Fei exhaled a heavy breath, suppressed the pain in his body, and said faintly, "I'm worried. I'm fine. No matter what happens to me, don't move. Do you understand?" The power of the Sky Envoy was beyond imagination. Just now, he had wriggled his eyes, and imperceptibly, a power rushed out. If he did not react fast enough, Xiao Dai would already be dead. Long Fei will remember this grudge. And then, Long Fei walked forward again and said, "If it's a draw, then let's tie." Sky Envoy smiled lightly and said, "That's right, that's more like it. Whatever I say, it's naturally what I say. Does anyone have any other questions?" His gaze swept across the entire audience. The heads of the 10 families' disciples were shaking like a rattle drum. "No, none at all. Lord is the powerhouse of God's tribe. The words you speak are of course authority. They represent everything. Whoever dares to object, I'll fight them with my life on the line." Xiao Dai and the others were extremely furious, but they did not make another sound, because if they disagreed to anything, they were afraid that it would implicate Long Fei. Sky Envoy laughed blandly. "Very good. Since 3 of them are tied, then let's continue. What does God's sect gathering want to do after the alchemy competition?" Zhao Wuji took a step forward and said, "Master, let's have a contest," Sky Envoy said. "All right, then I'll ask you to begin." At this moment, the 10 families as representatives all walked out, and the same went for the Tongshan. Although he did not participate in the failure of his alchemy just now, he would not miss the opportunity to forge artifacts. Moreover, although the alchemy competition was between Long Fei, Zhao Hao Ian, and Yi Yurong, the 10 families did not lose because there were still matches to come. As long as he could win, he would still have a chance to get first place. The most important thing was, the last battle of God's sect gathering was a martial arts fight. The martial arts competition was the most important part. All of a sudden, all sorts of refining platform S appeared. These refining platform S were all earth-ranked or above spirit artifacts, which had an additional effect on artifact forging. It was also at this time. Boom! Zhao Hao Ian moved and took out a huge refining platform from the space ring. Holy Artifact Refining Platform. It directly shocked the entire audience. Holy Artifact Refining Platform. Could it be that the Crown Prince is also a divine level refiner? Impossible, right? Divine level alchemy master and divine level artificer. Isn't this just too terrifying? Just as everyone was discussing, Yurong also slightly moved. She was also a divine ranked refining platform, but her refining platform was a bit lighter and nimbler. Other than the Ming clan's rune, no one else present knew about it. The Ming clan had already disappeared for billions of years, and other than the elders, no one else in the God's tribe had seen the Ming clan runes before. If he knew it was Ming one, I'm afraid. Yurong no longer needed to refine it. The God's tribe would absolutely not allow any of the remnants of the Ming clan to escape. Even if they were annihilated by the God's tribe and trampled under his feet for billions of years, they would still not let go of anyone related to the Ming clan. The Sky Envoy on the throne came here because of the appearance of the Ming clan's inheritance. Also, what he did not know was that after he came to the Zhenwu continent, the Nantian Monument had made the God's tribe send a few more of his own, but they had not arrived yet. Go for it. Go for it. We can't lose again. Zhao Haoyan looked at Long Fei and said, "You were lucky just now, but you won't be lucky again this time. My refining skills are even stronger than my alchemy. You just have to wait to be abused." Xianming Master was also secretly pleased. "You Rong, look carefully who's stepping on who. I want to let them know what a nether weapon is. This time, I will definitely win. A mere trash wants to step on my head. Humph, you ignorant fool." At this moment, everyone realized that there was still nothing in front of Long Fei. There were no refining platforms, nor were there any materials needed to forge artifacts, just like the alchemy just now. Sky Envoy asked, "Are you ready?" Long Fei said indifferently. "Can we begin?" Sky Envoy laughed and said, "Are you impatient already? Good. Let's begin your performance." As soon as he finished, Long Fei's entire body was like fire. At this moment, his method was strange. The multiple phantoms on his body overlapped each other, making it impossible to see clearly. 10 seconds. A weapon appeared in front of Long Fei, and he coldly said, "Refined." The entire audience was stunned. Those weapons crafting geniuses were immediately scared silly. So fast. Are you crazy? Chapter 26:06. Laughing? Smile for your father again. Chapter 26:06. Laughing? Smile for your father again. When everyone was still preparing, Long Fei completed the refinement with amazing skills. His movements were extremely fast and incredibly violent. The most important thing was that in front of him was a steaming weapon and a stick. There were cracks on the rod, and lava was flowing within the cracks. The entire pole was thrown up and down while emitting flames. It was as if the flames would burst out if he were to grasp it. This kind of feeling shocked everyone present. Just like that, I succeeded? Isn't this too fast? Are you crazy? Is there anyone capable of refining weapons so fast? Just what is he refining? This is impossible. What did this brat do just now? It took me only a few seconds to finish refining it. I didn't even see his refining platform. Cheating. The crowd below the stage began to discuss in hushed voices. Long Fei did not pay any attention to him, and instead looked at the Sky Envoy in the throne and said faintly, "This war device is of the divine level." As soon as he finished, everyone in the audience shivered once again. Divine level? Forging a god-ranked weapon in an instant? What kind of joke is this? Kid, I don't believe it. A divine-ranked war device is even harder to refine than holy ply. How can it be refined into a divine weapon in such a short amount of time? What did you use to make it? There were many voices of doubt around, but Long Fei still did not pay attention to them. Long Fei had prepared this stick for Transformers, because, with his size combined with the power of this rod, Long Fei believed that he would definitely be extremely domineering, just like a monkey in a Westbound. It was not a monkey with a tightening headband, but a monkey that was possessed by the devil and could do whatever it wanted. Although the thing in his hand was a rod, it was not a golden cudgel, but there was one thing in common. Long Fei clenched his right hand slightly. Gotcha! Gotcha! The cracks looked like they were about to crack. Many people started to mock him. What kind of bullshit holy artifact is this? You even heard the sound of a crack. Exactly. You're just putting on a show. Do you think anyone can refine a holy artifact? Amidst these mocking laughs, Long Fei surged with true essence. Boom! The outer shell of the pole had completely split open, such a pole with a body completely red like fire. The demonic flames grew, crazily suppressing it. Long Fei's forehead turned sinister. His right hand grabbed the stick and slammed it into the ground. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The ground split open, and streams of energy and dust were sent flying in all directions. As they surged out, the entire ground trembled, and rubble continued to roll down from the Great Hall. What was trembling was not only the Great Hall, but also the hearts of the people who mocked Long Fei earlier. He was somehow caught up in it. His mind was completely crushed. It was incomparably painful. Mocking me? Are you even worthy? Long Fei let out a heavy sound as he released even more unbridled true essence. Veins popped out on his forehead as he said solemnly, "Grow longer for me." Buzz! The stick suddenly grew larger and thicker. At the same time, the pain of those whose minds have been crushed increased. Long! Buzz! It grew bigger and thicker again. Long Fei's eyes were ice cold as he said, "Now do you know if it's a holy artifact or not?" Those people who were being crushed were speechless. They frantically nodded their heads. They couldn't bear any longer. It was too unbearable, and even their minds were about to explode. However, Long Fei pretended not to see it and said heavily once again, "Grow longer for me." Buzz! Rumble! The rod that was originally only 2 meters long became 10 meters tall after being raised 3 times. It was about to poke into the top of Great Hall. Zhao Wuji also slightly shouted, "Long Fei, this is the Sky Harmony Hall. If you dare to destroy a tile here, I won't." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei sneered and spoke again, "Grow longer for me." Bam! Walala! It directly pierced through the Great Hall. The entire audience was stunned. At the same time, those people whose minds had been crushed all had dead expressions on their faces. Their minds were broken, and their bodies became stiff. At the same time, a system announcement sounded out in Long Fei's mind. Zhao Wuji's face turned sinister. His expression became extremely ugly. He looked at Zhao Haoyan as if he was waiting for an order. Zhao Haoyan did not look at him. His eyes were gloomy, and his expression was extremely ugly. He thought that refining would be able to crush Long Fei, but he didn't think that Long Fei would instantly refine a set of holy artifact, and this caused his mind to be under a lot of pressure. Third junior brother, young master, young master, young general, young general. All of a sudden, more than a dozen of 10 families as geniuses died. Long Fei had completely offended all of the 10 families. The 10 families, together with the sect of Infinitas and the royal Zhao family, had basically offended all of the powers in the entire capital. The people of 10 families all stared at Long Fei with killing intent. "Kid, you're too arrogant. So many people have died at one go. Today, my Lu family is irreconcilable with you. My Chen family is the same as well. Ma clan too. The Hong family too. If not for the fact that God's sect gathering was still continuing, they would have already rushed forward to fight with Long Fei." Zhao Wuji also took the opportunity and said, "Long Fei, killing so many people in one go, going against the founding purpose of God's sect gathering. Lord Inspector, Heavenly Ambassador, people like him simply don't have the qualifications to continue. Even if he wins in the end, he doesn't have the qualifications to become the descendant of God's tribe." At this moment, Xiao Dai immediately jumped out and shouted, "Do you even have any face left? Who questioned the might of the divine weapon refined by Long? Who was the one who mocked him just now? Now that my mind has been shattered by the godly weapon, what kind of weird person would that be? Squatting in the latrine and unable to poop, you blame the latrine?" Chief Captain said, "You're right." Long Fei looked at Sky Envoy, waiting for him to speak. So what if you're 10 families? If he wasn't even afraid of the Zhao family, what was there to be afraid of the 10 families? Furthermore, Long Fei was just testing the Sky Envoy's bottom line. He wanted to know why the Sky Envoy had set her eyes on him. However, he didn't have any talent at all. Bloodvein also didn't have any. He didn't have any talent either. At the very least, Long Fei did not know, even he did not know how strong the envoy of the God's tribe was. If it wasn't talent, then what was it? Ancient martial arts? Or something else? Immortal Master Lu Yuan's words had always been engraved in Long Fei's mind. Powerhouse of God's tribe was his #1 enemy. Suddenly, The Sky Envoy suddenly stood up from his throne. The entire arena instantly fell silent. Sky Envoy narrowed his eyes as he looked at Long Fei. Chapter 26:07 Greedy Rise. Chapter 26:07 Greedy Rise. There was a trace of coldness in his eyes. This coldness caused the temperature of the entire audience to plummet. This is bad luck. Ha! This kid is going to die. Even the Sky Envoy is angry. Kid, no matter how strong you are not stronger than Powerhouse of God's tribe. Let's see how long you can stay alive for. Many people secretly rejoiced in their hearts. At the same time, if he makes a move, no matter what, we have to save little junior brother. No matter what price he has to pay, understand? 16 magic captains' eyes communicated as they nodded heavily. Their bodies continued to lean forward as they prepared to block the bullets for Long Fei at any time. On the surface, Long Fei seemed neither surprised nor happy, not a single ripple. However, his heart was trembling. Just that slight chill, it was hard for him to take it. Idea S held onto 10-story Devil Tower and downgrade spray. As long as Sky Envoy pounced at him, he would attack with all his might. A second was as long as a year. Time seemed to have been banned. No one knew what would happen next. The atmosphere was extremely tense. It was as if the air was filled with gasoline, and a spark would explode and burn crazily. However, just at this moment, the coldness in Sky Envoy's eyes vanished, turning into a faint voice. Let the competition continue. The audience heaved a sigh of relief. Long Fei's mind also relaxed, as he let out a heavy sigh in his heart. This guy is too strong. He can change at any time with my current strength. Most likely, even if he lost 3 realms, he still wouldn't be a match for them. Just a glance was enough to crush him. If it was an attack, he believed he would be defeated in an instant. Zhao Wuji trembled slightly and said, Lord Sky Envoy. He clearly, not waiting for him to finish. Sky Envoy raised his eyes and stared coldly at Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuji did not even have the time to react before he vomited a mouthful of blood. His entire person instantly knelt on the ground with an expression of incomparable pain on his face. Sky Envoy coldly said, Was what I said not clear enough? The entire audience didn't dare to make another sound. Zhao Wuji didn't even dare to move from his kneeling position. If he moved even a single inch, Zhao Wuji felt as if he would die in the next second. Long Fei's pupils tightened. The look in Sky Envoy's eyes as he released this power was looking at him. It was a form of warning. Don't be too presumptuous. Indeed, Long Fei was too arrogant. Sky Envoy was in a bit of a bad mood. Here, he was the king, the god that determined life and death. It's not your turn to act tough in front of me. If you continue to act tough, I'll kill you with a single slap. However, Sky Envoy's heart also tumbled to the ground because of... Others might not be able to see Long Fei's refining techniques, but he could see it clearly. Long Fei's forging method was also imbued with ancient power. He was more shocked than anyone else. This was because he knew better than anyone that the 2 ancient martial arts of artifact forging and alchemy were completely different from each other. Even in the God's tribe, there was no one who could grasp the ancient alchemy technique at the same time. In other words, this brat was so abnormal that he was inhuman. His heart was filled with doubt. Such a genius. Geniuses cannot be described. They are simply monstrous geniuses. Why would such a person be in such a low realm? He must have power of ancient inheritance on him. What exactly is it? What if? His eyes narrowed. The greed in his heart rose to the top. He wanted it. Every single person in the universal realm dreamed about having a power of ancient inheritance. He was the descendant of God's tribe, but his blood vein was not the God's tribe's blood vein. He was only a disciple with another surname. It was simply impossible for him to obtain the ancient inheritance. All of the ancient inheritance would be accepted by the God's tribe's blood vein Even if they had to wait for 100 million years, it wouldn't be his turn. Now, an owner of the ready-made ancient inheritance's power was right in front of him. If he could absorb his power, Then his mind started to wander. He knew what the consequences of devouring the ancient inheritance were. The moment they were discovered by the God's tribe, they would be hunted to death. But Sky Envoy looked at Long Fei with a complicated expression. At this moment, Yurong said with a faint voice, "Refining is complete." A long sword that was as black as ink floated silently beside her. Long Fei turned and looked at Yurong. Her expression was as cold as ever. Zhao Haoyin faintly said, "Refinement completed." A warhammer was floating in midair. 10 families as artifact forging disciples had also completed their tasks one after another, but the best people at best were only Earth stage magic weapon, and half of them had failed. In the end, only the Tong Shun remained. He was going crazy. His eyes were bloodshot, and he was on the verge of going berserk. "I'm the strongest genius. My divine level talent, holy vein, I am the most powerful." Shouting like a madman. However, boom! Refining platform exploded. His whole body was blown away by the strong force of his true essence. His hair was scattered. His face was covered in filth. His consciousness had become unclear. No. I am a genius. I. And then he ran back to the refining platform. However, Sky Envoy said coldly, "So noisy." As soon as he finished, Tong Shen's head was instantly cut off by a thin line. The head rolled to the ground. His eyes were filled with rage, and he died with grievance. Everyone in the audience shivered. With a powerful peak realm, he was able to behead a dragon in an instant. Just how powerful was this Sky Envoy? There were people from completely different worlds. Long Fei secretly clenched both his fists. There was no fear in his heart, but rather excitement, that kind of, as long as it exploded, he would be able to rise to the heavens in a single leap of excitement. This boss is definitely the ultimate boss. As long as we kill him, I'll be able to clear the level and enter the universal realm, right? Haha. Long Fei was a little unable to restrain the excitement in his heart. All of Sect of Infinitas' disciples kneeled on the ground, not daring to even raise their heads. They didn't even dare to fart when their master was killed. Now that the Tong Shun was killed, the same was true for them. Zhao was strongest sect was only a bunch of trash who were afraid of death. Sky Envoy did not even look at Tong Shun, but said coldly, "All three of you are refining divine ranked war device. Of course it is at this plane's level. In Universal Realm, they are just a pile of scrap metal. Let's continue with the next match." In addition, disciples of the 10 families moved to the side. "Don't waste time," the Sky Envoy said coldly. The expression in the eyes of the 10 families and Zhou Yaozong tightened. They all wanted to fight for it again, but the blood that flowed out of Tong Shin's body was still boiling. "Next match," Sky Envoy secretly said to himself as he looked at Long Fei. "Let me see exactly how many more ancient martial arts you still have. Not all powerful." Chapter 2608, Sweeping the Way. Chapter 2608, Sweeping the Way. I'm looking forward to it. Sky Envoy really wanted to know all of Long Fei's strength. At this moment, he suppressed his desire. The power of the ancient inheritance caused everyone to look up, but once they stepped in, if they did not have enough power, they would be surrounded and killed by the powerhouse of God's tribe. He wanted to obtain the power of the ancient inheritance on Long Fei's body, but he had to recognize the reality. Desire and greed were suppressed. Long Fei's heart also slightly relaxed, just a bit more. The Sky Envoy was a big boss. There was no doubt about this. Long Fei had to constantly pay attention to the changes in his name, or he could directly make the first move and gain the upper hand. In that instant, when Long Fei tested the bottom line of the Sky Envoy, his name suddenly changed from white to yellow. If the yellow name was angered again, it would quickly change to red, and he would actively attack. This was all thanks to the many games he had played in his previous life. With his current experience, Long Fei was able to control it. Fortunately, Sky Envoy's name returned to white a few seconds later. Long Fei didn't know what Sky Envoy was thinking. Similarly, Sky Envoy did not know that Long Fei could see through his every move. The rest of the competition will be carried out by the three of you. Remember, show me your full strength. Sky Envoy stared at Long Fei and said, with a kid, I think you have a good expression. Zhao Haoyan said, understood. His heart was also tight at the same time. Alchemy and artifact forging are all godly techniques that formation. Beast Master. It must be the same in every way. Seems like he's stronger than I thought. However, no matter how good the cultivation of these auxiliary method is, it's useless. The one controlling this world is the powerhouse of the martial arts training, not the alchemy master, and even more so, not the master refiner. No matter how strong the supporting skills were, they were only there to serve the powerhouse. No powerhouse of the auxiliary method could stand at the peak of the world. In the end, it was still a gift for the powerhouse. The final battle arena was still a martial arena. Zhao Haoyan quickly sorted out all of these, and the corner of his mouth slightly hooked up as he thought to himself, little bastard, fighting arena, just you wait. Haha. Zhao Haoyan understood all of these, and at the same time, the same was also true for the Xianming Master. As long as we inscribe the formation, the Demon Beast, all of these competitions have reached the divine ranking, so the one who will be the victor will be the fighting arena. In the end, the Zhenwu realm is still only a Zhenwu realm. It's impossible for him to win against me. Huh? Yirong said, Master, why aren't you awake yet? In the past, you looked down upon Long Fei, saying that he had no inherent skill and no blood vein-s. But if even the Sky Envoy had taken a liking to him, why don't you understand? Could it be that you have a better eye than Sky Envoy? Furthermore, his alchemy has crushed you. Refining is also able to crush you. Don't tell me that he didn't step on you? Or do you think that your own alchemy and artifact forging are on the same level as his? If that's the case, don't you think you're ridiculous? How dare you? Xianming Master heavily shouted with disdain. Alchemy. So what if your artifact forging is powerful? What would he decide? He can't decide anything. He can't even decide his own fate. And in the end, he's still being dictated by the Sky Envoy. And in the fighting arena, I can kill him in one move, Xianming Master said coldly. In this world, only martial arts can decide everything. Humph! They all had their own ulterior motives. Let the competition begin, the Sky Envoy said indifferently. 10 seconds later, Long Fei finished forming the array and stood quietly at the side. The formation was set up in the Great Hall. It was as fast as lightning. The Sky Envoy stared at Long Fei as his heart tightened. The power of another ancient martial arts. This is truly too exciting. All of these are divine-grade formations. Draw. Next match. Beast Master Competition. In 10 seconds, Long Fei had easily tamed a super ferocious beast and obediently squatted beside him. Even the Sky Envoy wanted to laugh out loud. Ha ha! Yet another ancient martial arts. Omnipotent. This brat. If it was truly omnipotent, then what exactly was the ancient power that he inherited? No one can cultivate so many ancient martial arts as in one go. No matter what ancient inheritance it is, it must be a very powerful force. Sky Envoy was getting more and more excited, and he was unable to suppress the greed in his heart anymore. I wanted too much. The ancient inheritance in his body has yet to awaken. This way, it will be much easier for me to fuse it. The Sky Envoy's palms started to sweat, his eyes started to flicker, and his eyes started to shine. What are you doing? A burst of white, a burst of yellow. What exactly is he thinking in his heart? What was he trying to do? Long Fei stared at Sky Envoy. The look in his eyes kept changing. It must be a change in his heart. However, Long Fei felt that the look in Sky Envoy's eyes was turning more and more strange. Boom! Puppet creation completed. Divine grade. Zhao Haoyan was panting a little. From the very beginning, he was unable to support the beasts. It was not because his strength was lacking, but because he did not have enough mastery over the auxiliary skills. It had taken him over half an hour to create a puppet. Eorong also shouted out slightly, "Finished!" She too. The support skill had already reached its limit. Moreover, Long Fei only used 10 seconds each time, giving them a huge pressure. Each time, the items refined would be much stronger than the ones refined by them. Alchemy, artifact forging, formation, beast taming. Every single one of them was being completely crushed, if not for the fact that Sky Envoy had done it on purpose. This God's Sect gathering would have ended long ago. They had no chance at all to enter the final battle. Just like what Long Fei had said at the start, he would step on them. Zhao Haoyan's heart was engulfed in a ball of fire. He felt extremely displeased. Similarly, the same was true for the Xianming Master in Eorong's body. The two of them were constantly being suppressed by Long Fei. The anger in their hearts was getting stronger and stronger, waiting for Fighting Arena to release all of his anger. Divine level. All of them are at the divine level. Ha ha! Sky Envoy smiled faintly and said, "They're all divine rank, and once again it is a tie. It seems like all of you are going to enter the final round. So beautiful. It's like a feast, carefree and carefree." The people of 10 families, Zhou family, and Sect of Infinitas also felt the same way. Deity-level battles. It was too exciting. However, they all knew that this was Sky Envoy deliberately releasing the pressure. Otherwise, Long Fei would have already won. Now, let's drag it to the final match. This way, Long Fei's advantage would be gone. The corner of Zhao Haoyan's mouth raised, and he looked at Long Fei coldly. "Brat, we're going to fight. Are you starting to tremble?" Chapter 2609, Threatening Xianming Master. Chapter 2609, Threatening Xianming Master. Haha. Zhao Haoyan laughed proudly. After being pressured so many times, it was finally his turn to erupt. His eyes were filled with a strong killing intent. Zhao Haoyan laughed sinisterly. "In one move, I will make you kneel on the ground and become a dead dog." Ha ha ha. Long Fei did not look at Zhao Haoyan. His gaze was still directed at Eorong, but her face was still expressionless, as cold as an iceberg. Suddenly, a voice traveled into Long Fei's mind. "Kid, do you want Eorong to die, or do you want her to live?" Her voice was cold. It was a little hoarse, the voice of an old woman. Long Fei's pupils abruptly contracted. In this instant, the fury in his heart instantly surged as he roared in his heart, "Old witch!" Anger erupted in an instant. He couldn't suppress it. Xianming Master was completely stomped by Long Fei, fury burning in his heart. The same, Long Fei was also suppressing his anger. An unfair competition. Unfair treatment. Long Fei didn't care about any of this. Even if it were a tie, he would still suppress both Zhao Haoyan and Xianming Master. But Eorong, her cold eyes, the pain she was enduring made Long Fei extremely angry. When Xianming Master's voice suddenly came out, Long Fei was instantly enraged. Xianming Master's voice also became especially gloomy as he said, "You dog, how dare you be so rude?" No one had ever dared to be so disrespectful to her. Just call her old demoness? Long Fei shouted, "Old witch, I will give you a choice. Leave my congenial body, or else I will make you die an incomparably miserable death." Ha ha, ha ha. Xianming Master let out a mournful, ghost-like laugh and said, "You want me to die an incomparably miserable death? Kid, have you not figured out the situation? The one fighting you on stage is Eorong. She's one of my puppet. Even if you kill her, I won't be harmed in the slightest." "Oh, right? Is she the woman you love? Ha ha. Did you do it?" Xianming Master was extremely pleased with himself. No matter what happened on the stage, he would not be affected at all. At most, Eorong would be killed. Eorong was her puppet. If the golem died, the controller wouldn't suffer much damage. Long Fei's mind became sinister, his fists tightened, and he asked, "What do you want?" Xianming Master said, "Listen to me obediently and finish out Haoyan off, then you concede. Only by letting me win will you be able to get a complete Eorong. Your beloved woman will either die or be toyed with by this abnormal eunuch. Zhao Haoyan. I heard that his grandfather, Zhao Chongshan, is an even more abnormal old freak. Before Xianming Master even finished speaking, Long Fei immediately scolded angrily. F*** K your mother. He was enraged to the extreme. Long Fei released it without realization and continued to search for the aura of the Xianming Master. Right now, he wished he could drag out Xianming Master and tear him into two. There was such a master in the world. Xianming Master laughed out loud. Brat, don't even think of finding my position. Even if you do you think you're my opponent? Do as I say, this is your only choice. If you don't do as I say, I promise you, you will never see Yurong again. And isn't it good for you, Rong, to fly up and enter the universal realm? If you really love her, then you should help her. Xianming Master had complete control of Long Fei. She had thought of this even before she participated in the competition. But she did not think that Long Fei would actually erupt with such a strong power of auxiliary method. It was completely out of her expectations. However, this did not hinder her plans. As long as she defeated Zhao Haoyan, she would be number one. This way, she wouldn't need to borrow the Zhao family's emperor's qi to break through the shackles and ascend. She could directly possess Yurong. Everything was under her control. Ha ha. Xianming Master laughed out loud in his heart. Kid, be obedient like a dog. Do you understand? It's your honor to be used by me, haha. The sound slowly faded away. Long Fei's idea immediately tensed up, and an extremely strong flow of psychokinesis was released out from its body. He followed the scent of the sound and chased after it. Half a quarter of an hour later, Long Fei let out a sigh of relief between his brows. Her face was pale. Phew. Long Fei panted anxiously. At this moment, Chief Captain quickly walked over and asked, Junior brother, what's wrong? Xiao Dai also surrounded him and said, Along, why did your face suddenly become so pale? What's wrong? Long Fei glanced at Yurong. Yurong's eyes trembled. She had heard everything Xianming Master had said, and if she could, she would have killed herself. She would rather die than see Long Fei in pain. Long Fei lightly shook his head and said, I'm fine. And then, Long Fei said in a low voice, Xiao Dai, let Tang Ringe enter the Imperial Palace, and let him find the old granny's position as soon as possible. Xiao Dai nodded. Thin Monkey immediately said, I'll do it. Long Fei looked at the chief captain again and said, Various senior brother, later, listen to my orders, remember? If Sky Envoy were to make a move, no matter what happens, you all must leave. Chief Captain said, Junior brother, the energy in Yurong's body is her master, but the energy in Zhao Haoyan's body. A magic captain's with special sensing ability answered. The power in Zhao Haoyan's body does not belong to him either, but an even stronger person. Long Fei said, Zhao Chongshan. Chief Captain's expression changed, and he said, Zhenwu Continent's #1 powerhouse, Zhao Chongshan. Then, Junior brother, why don't we give up? They are all in the Emperor Zhenwu realm, and the old granny's strength is also unfathomable. Long Fei shook his head. There's no way to give up. If I don't, I'll die. Moreover, I, Long Fei, have no such word in my dictionary. Give up? Impossible. If he gave up, Yurong would definitely be ravaged to death by Zhao Haoyan, and he would die miserably. He couldn't give up. Again, Zhao Haoyan went from a little boss to a big boss. How could he give up under such circumstances? He needed experience to break through the Emperor Zhenwu's realm. See the boss escape? This was not Long Fei's personality. He was here to rob the Zhao family and trample the old demoness to death. If he did not finish these two things, he would not leave. Long Fei was only worried about one thing, and that was the old granny's position. He hoped to be able to use Tang Ringe's Tengu mode to lock onto the Xianming Master, and then, even if he had to fight to the death, he had to kill her. If he didn't kill her, he swore he wouldn't be human. Looking for someone? Looking for that old hag. No problem, give me 1 second. Tang Ringe's brows tightened, and his nose suddenly sucked in. Then he smiled and said, "Found it." Chapter 2610, Explosion of the Fuse. Chapter 2610, Explosion of the Fuse. Other than that, Tang Renjia's nose was sharper than a dog's. Moreover, this was something that came naturally to him, and he didn't know why. It was as if he had been inseparable from dogs in his previous life. He used less than a second to lock onto Xianming Master's position, and Xianming Master did not notice it at all. "I recorded her aura yesterday. You're so arrogant. I can't even continue to work here. You're really too old, otherwise I really would have. I can't kill her," Tang Renjia said proudly. Thin Monkey said, "In order to prevent her from moving, you will enter the palace through the side door with me." Tang Renjia asked excitedly, "What's wrong? Is boss going to fight with that old demoness?" The Thin Monkey did not speak further, and said, "More or less." Actually, he didn't understand either. Tang Renjia's eyes lit up, and he said, "That damned old granny must be tidying up to actually treat our eldest sister-in-law like this, and beat her up. She's my goddess, isn't she? Right." "One more thing," Thin Monkey asked. "What?" Tang Renjia said. "Kong Kim went to look for the Zhao family's secret dragon fountain room. He heard that there's a dragon there. He wants to kill it." Thin Monkey was slightly surprised. "Ah." At this moment, in the direction of the underground palace, rumble, a loud sound was heard. Tang Renjia immediately laughed. "Ha. It seems like King Kong is going to fight." Thin Monkey was startled and immediately said, "Let's go to boss." Outside the imperial city, Gui Qingshan's gaze tensed up. The great elder of the Earth sect immediately asked, "Great General, there's a sound from inside. Is it a signal?" Gui Qingshan looked into the sky and said, "Don't be anxious. Let's wait a little longer." Lucian descended and said, "It seems to be the underground palace's side. The gods' sect gathering was held at Great Hall. So why was there a loud noise first at the underground palace?" Gui Qingshan asked. "What should we do?" Lucian replied, "Don't be anxious. The battle is imminent. This competition will determine the life and death. Whoever loses will die. Even if something happens in the underground palace, I believe Zhao Chongshan will not have the energy to send people over." And the million-strong army of the Zhou family did not move under the god capital. The loud noise just now should have been an accident. Lucian started to analyze. The 100-Jun Wu realm behind Gui Qingshan were a little impatient. Breaking through the Jun Wu realm, if they did not kill a few people, then it would be too boring. The reason for becoming strong was to kill. This was what was so exciting. In another place, 100 km away from the capital, in a wilderness valley, it had been noisy. However, along with the loud noise that came from the direction of the divine capital, Alien Queen's two big eardrums started to tremble rapidly, as if he was receiving a signal from afar. The valley instantly became silent. The eyes of the millions of aliens shone with a dark and cold light, all of them staring at the Alien Queen. They were waiting for the order from the Alien Queen. However, a few seconds later, Alien Queen's eardrums contracted and the valley started to clamor again. Countless alien eggs were still cracking open, and baby aliens crawled out one after another and started to grow at high speed. 100,000 Grand Mist crystals was far too powerful. After an entire day, Alien Queen helped Long Fei create the strongest army in the history of Zhenwu continent. In the army camp of the Zhou family's million-strong army, a white-haired old man sat cross-legged with his eyes closed. Inside the tent, there were two fully armed generals on both sides. Each of them was covered in golden godly armor and had a determined look in their eyes. They unknowingly emitted an incredibly powerful aura of slaughter. The million-strong army stood silently outside the military tent. They were waiting. Wait for signal. The old man's brows suddenly tightened, and he said lightly, "The Zhou family's disciple selection has failed. The martial competition is about to begin." "Seems like." The old man opened his eyes slightly, and a trace of coldness flashed across his eyes. Any new empire is built on blood and corpses. The Zhao family was the same back then. Now, It's our Zhou family's turn. If we do not win this battle, the Zhou family will forever be trampled under the Zhao family. The generals on both sides were startled and immediately stood up. The elders said coldly, "Let's begin." Here, after the 12 prizes left the tent, the million-strong army began to move. The Zhou family was betting everything on this. If they did not win, the Zhou family would be trampled on by the Zhao family for 10,000 years, and once someone from the Zhao family enters the God's tribe, the Zhou family would quickly perish. Right now, he could only fight with all his might. As long as he killed Zhao Haoyan, Zhao Chongshan, and Zhao Wuji, the Sky Envoy would definitely choose one more person to join the Universal Realm. Even if he did not choose, the Zhou family could replace the Zhao family and establish the Zhou Empire. Boom! Boom! The million-strong army moved like thunder. The 16 city gates of the godly capital opened wide as the army entered the city. Imperial Palace, Great Hall. With a loud sound, Zhao Wuji's expression immediately darkened. He immediately looked towards Long Fei, and then his gaze landed on Zhou Yaozong. Zhao Haoyan also frowned. They didn't know what had happened. However, Zhao Haoyan was a little worried in his heart. With his real face inside the Dragon Vein secret room, if his real face was destroyed, then he looked straight at Zhao Wuji. Zhao Wuji understood the situation and quietly left the main hall. However, other than him, the true martial powerhouse in the palace did not move. They were here to suppress the 10 families and Long Fei and the rest. If they were to leave, Zhao Haoyan would be the only one left in the peace hall that day. Even though he was worried, Zhao Haoyan knew clearly that no matter what happened in the underground palace, he couldn't go there. He had to win the battle. He had won the top scholar for the God's Sect gathering. Moreover, the Dragamai secret room wasn't a room that an ordinary person could enter. Dangerous. Even if the powerhouse of the true martial emperor went in, he would still not be able to come out alive. In the secret chamber of the Dragon Fountain, there was an extremely cruel being. If you went in, you would die. Zhao Haoyan looked at Long Fei, and the corner of his mouth slightly curled, and he said, "You're trying to cause trouble? Brat, it's useless. Do you understand? Even if we enter the underground palace, those trash will die. Do you know what's inside? Let alone the Zhenwu realm. Even if 10 true martial emperor powerhouse were to enter, they would still die." Ha ha ha. From his point of view, the loud noise coming from the underground palace was something that Long Fei's people had done. Long Fei was so confused that he did not know what Zhao Haoyan was saying. At this moment, the thin monkey walked into the hall anxiously. Seeing that thin monkey had returned, Long Fei was ecstatic. The thin monkey did not mention that Tang Renjia had locked onto the Xianming master, but said, "The underground palace is King Kong. They have already started doing it. I'm afraid." Long Fei's pupils contracted. Thinking back to what Zhao Haoyan had just said, he wanted to leave immediately. However, Sky Envoy said coldly, "Let the battle begin." You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.